And we're live. And I'm yawning again. Yay. What day is it today? It's a Monday, right? I think it is. I don't know. Time is weird. Hey, whenever I go to stream, I'm suddenly tired. Clearly, I have not had enough tea. If I can speak English properly. And that's a big if. I just realized on the title screen they have sort of less magical versions of some of the drinks. Hang on. Okay, so before I pressed the hotkey that I have in order for this, well, in order to go off the starting screen scene and onto the live scene that you're seeing now with the face cam and the game in full screen. In the background, you could see a sort of non-magical version of, I think it's the Thousand Winds drink, and also the Sunny Breeze drink. I'm very tired for some reason, but I shouldn't be. I haven't done much except play Minecraft today. I also think it's evil that no one will DM the Tavern Talk one-shot DLC that is downloadable content from Tavern Talk that provides you with an entire one-shot for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. No one will run that for me, and I don't want to run it because I've run enough games. And by that I mean... Three games. 2 one-shots and then 1 like 5-session campaign that we just kind of dropped. But my point stands that I've DM'd the most out of my friend group, so I shouldn't have to anymore. Every time. Maybe I should just start streaming earlier in the day. People are still having life stuff then. Anyway, game time. Act 3, The Twilight Flood. Part 21. Disaster, Tea, and Revelations. 31st of the Astral Moon. Could have been 31st. An ST instead of a TH there after the 31. But, what are you gonna do about it? Hopefully I'm gonna stop yawning about it. Recap time. Right. So. Last time, Melly was missing for most of it. And then they stormed out of the tavern in a fuss without a drink or a quest because we wouldn't give them a drink or a quest to go find Melly. We haven't seen Fable since. No, Melly has come back. Melly is fine. Fable is missing. There was a really concerning time period where they were both missing, but Melly's back. Fable's still out there somewhere. Yeah. Okay, calm down. I'm sure they're fine. Fable's capable. So, Zephyr, aka Blaze, aka Malachite, aka John, aka Aura, aka Kumo, has a new name now. Their new name is Dave. I love him so much. Right, yeah. Archie doesn't want to be an adventurer anymore because on his first adventure, he may have had one of his close friends die in his arms. Yeah. Kaelin's currently out killing some undead alongside Scully, the undead skeleton. And I haven't heard from Tia or Clay for a while. Who died? A character we haven't seen called Theodore. Archie is the fancy guy with ginger hair and a silly hat. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. Fable's just gonna walk through the door. No, I'll take it. Welcome back, you two. It's good to see you both again. Okay. They're fine. What's your enthusiasm, Innkeeper? We bring tales of disaster. Fuck. Damn. That's 2 failed quests. In this act alone. I mean, I've had no failed quests in the other acts, but, I don't mind a little disaster in my tales. After all, you tell them so well. Can I get you a drink? Oh, she really does. As do you, Clay. Thank you. I hope my stories are as good as your drinks. They are to me. Speaking of which, can I offer you a drink in exchange for a little insight into your disasters? That'd be great. Something that feels strong and magic-y, right? You remembered! Yeah, that one, please. Coming right out. That's just 3 strength. Just 3 strength. I think it's defense and charisma. Make a Southern Brawler. Yeah. Southern Brawler. And we need to give Andu his intellect. Very important. I'm going to sneeze soon. Maybe I won't then. It felt like I would, you know? Oh, come here often? Sorry, I'll stop. Sneezant, exactly. Something tasty and strong, but hopefully not disastrous. Very tasty, very strong. You've really got the best drinks around. Happy to hear that, Clay. Here, you're bursting at the seams. How were the archives? Fun. Were they? Mayhaps. The Bleakstalkers were. Bleak? Cute. So they were cute! Interesting. The cuteness verdict was out before this, so at least we've learnt that. Cute. Very. Jade told us where to find the entrance to the archives. But when we got there, we found it surrounded by Bleakstalkers. They were quite numerous. And so, shaped. I decided to ask them if they could let us through. And I thought he might need some help with that. So I put on your honey flowers and extended my I'm sorry, pardon me. Poured on your honey flowers and extended my divine light to him. It made him glow softly, and they all flocked to him like moths to a gentle flame. You know they have... Did you know? Did you know? Did you know they have velvet wings they can fold into their bodies? Didn't. That's actually kind of fascinating. They were so cuddly and showed off their calling skills in exchange for carrots. I asked them if they'd like to be our tour guides, and they were so excited. They'd never been tour guides before, and at first, they thought it involved eating people. I might have acted a bit standoffish when trying to correct their misconception. Clay was able to convey the message better, much better. He's very good at explaining things. I think he really understands people. And that helps him meet them where they're at. I try to. Everyone has their own way of understanding things. I think that's beautiful. I envy your empathetic approach to life, Clay. She's blushing at him. Oh, thank you, but you've got your own strengths. Like how you're a master of strategy, or how you're so good at making people feel safe. I suppose we make a great team. Okay. While I enjoy watching you two flirt, can we get back to the story? I'm very curious. The best, I might say. We made a great team with the Bleakstalkers, too. They let us right inside the archives, which were huge. Large parts of the Everbloom had collapsed, but even the explorable sections were unbelievably spacious. We had no time for a proper tour, unfortunately. Tour? Or. We had to make it back in time for the barbecue, after all. That meant we had to be efficient during our search. Though we did take a break to admire the artist's hall the creatures excitedly led us to. We found abandoned pottery equipment that distracted us a little too much. Using more time than was perhaps appropriate, we molded tiny versions of the little critters as a gift to them. I loved them. Afterwards, we split up to cover more ground. Each of us was guided by a group of Bleakstalkers. Yeah, dangerous choice. That's when the monsters get you. Don't split the party. That's a bad idea. That's what Clay said, so I enchanted the friendship bracelets. Oh, they do have friendship bracelets. I just noticed that. His is blue and his is orange. Auto reference. No, I'm joking. Everything's fine. That way, they would always sense in which direction the other person was located, so neither of us would get lost. It was so smart. It was very useful. I see you kept yours on. I did. They really helped with navigating around the archives, too. It's a beautiful place, you know. I mean, everything's overgrown with vines, or withered and full of termites, but we could still tell how much care had gone into building it. Some of the tree branches still had leaves on them. And I saw a couple of stubborn lotus daisies trying to break through around the rocks. I taught the Bleakstalkers how to water them. They love drinking out of the watering can. They also enjoyed sharing their water with the lotus daisies. Hopefully they'll grow stronger again. What a shame all the effort that went into building the archives was for nothing. But it wasn't. It meant something to someone once. I could still feel that love in it, even during our visit. Maybe it'll even bloom again. It's called the Everbloom, right? Like, forever? I wonder who named it. We should go back sometime and see if we can find any information about the archivists. I bet they knew some great drinking games. I do believe we've met an archivist. That's Scully. He's currently out, though. Possibly dying. Possibly. Perhaps we should honor their contributions by studying the knowledge they left behind. Why not both? They should be people first, symbols second. Oh, yes. I guess both would work too. Good idea, Clay. What else did you find in archives? Besides friends, and the beauty, and horrors of time. I got a little distracted when I asked other friends to put me towards the cooking section. It was so vast. I found so many bread recipes I can't wait to try out. I also found something for you. For me? Yeah, a recipe from a book on mixology. First I thought about taking the whole thing along, but it was a giant tome and the bleak stalkers were so attached to it. So I ripped out the page that looked the most interesting. We thought it would fit your repertoire. I think it does. Thank you very much. The Last Whisper. Finally, another Dex 3 drink. It has been so long. I know. As for me, I asked them to lead me towards dangerous knowledge, and soon found myself in a hidden study. The Bleakstalkers didn't want to go inside, like they were scared of its contents. So I rewarded them with some treats, and ventured inside alone. It was a complete mess, full of scriptures, scrolls, and written ramblings that would be forbidden these days. A little exciting, and worrying. The papers I was able to translate spoke of the apocalypse, of the end of it all. There was research on the roots of the ether tree, and how to unbind them, written with shaking hands and fading ink. Was this more scholarly or mad scientist type of research? Hard to tell. The lines tend to blur with blasphemy. You know a lot about the Aether Tree, because Dio gave me a whole presentation about it. I wouldn't mind a refresher. It's a giant tree. Good start. A world tree. That means our world rests on it. In it. Around it? Somewhere. In it, mostly. And do you ask? The dragons guard the tree, but they created it, maybe? But definitely because they care for us. And since we live in it now, it should keep existing as it does now, because no one wants their house to crumble. A lot of people would get hurt if something happened to everyone's home. That's true, but luckily for us, damaging the ether tree isn't possible, right? It's larger than we could ever imagine. To us, it's really more of a concept than a tree. And the dragons defend it, despite their oath of neutrality. Despite their oath of neutrality, they're no easy foes. There is one way. Sigils of Alcahest. The what now? The Sigils of Alcahest. They're the key to destroying the ether tree, according to the scrolls I studied on the Archives Candlelight. Are they some sort of spell? More of a manual to a self-fulfilling prophecy. A way of breaking the cosmos in accordance with its own rules. For the tree to crumble, its foundations must be fractured. 5 sigils of Alcahest represent the 5 dragons, each of which must be damaged to topple our world's balance. Only then can our cosmos reshape itself. The scrolls spoke of experiments for creating a sigil. Unsuccessful experiments. That's reassuring. Not quite. They were only unsuccessful back then. Next to the notes of old, I found others, written on cleaner, newer parchment, with unfaded ink. Much of it was incomprehensible, written in languages I've never seen before. but various sketches of whales caught my eye, as did altered frostbite scrolls. That sounds unsettlingly familiar. Fear that the starfall broke a sigil. By ripping holes in Cassiopeia's wings, it destabilized her flight. If she's damaged any further, time could be sent into disarray. Meanwhile, the tsunami, like I heard, didn't just plague the archives. The waves broke down the barriers between the primordial sea and the twilight chasm, ways never seen before. But that's 2 broken sigils, with a 3rd to come soon, I'm guessing. That's not good. What an incredible understatement. To witness one such sigil fracture would be anxiety-inducing enough. Witness 2. Knowing it has happened to 2 will keep me up for many nights. It's not 2, it's 3. 3? Alongside the notes, I found an old map with fresh markings. All the names were outdated, but their intention was clear. Marked were the 5 interplanar portals. 30 years ago, their sudden appearance tore fissures into Gaia. I believe they were the first sigil. Bad, right? 30 years ago this happened. And we haven't seen our old friend for 30 years. I'm now a lot more scared of the 35th of Cassiopeia. Who could have done this? I don't know. Why, of all things? The Aether Tree collapsed or even shifted from its perfect balance. The destruction would end us all. Who would want that? No one thinking rationally, that's for sure. They might have a good reason for it. Maybe we can talk them out of it? I doubt it. Me too. Whoever it may be that's causing this, they only have 2 sigils left. It would be quite bad, right? Don't they say that waking the Elder Dragon will start the apocalypse? They do? I feel like there's too many ways to start the apocalypse. Maybe they're all connected, and waking will break the last sigil. Although, I'd like to think breaking all the sigils is indeed impossible. Because it's impossible to reach Tuat in the spirit realm, correct? Not exactly impossible. One can make it to the spirit dragon via the astral sea, at the dawn of the dying moon. That's in 5 days, right? Didn't the letter say... To celebrate our reunion, I invite you to the spectacle of this century, the last day of the astral moon, welcoming the first light of the dying moon, where the realm of Tuat is just a grasp away. This is bad. This is real bad, and we need to tell them something. Innkeeper, please. Yes, but worry not. To reach such a specific location within the astral realm, very specific rituals are necessary. And Gaia's portal to Cassiopeia is indispensable. That portal is located in and safely protected by the Aperture, the stronghold of the Order of Starlight, and its rituals must be performed with outstanding accuracy to withstand the treacherous astral currents. Only the highest-ranking members of the Orders are privy to this knowledge, and I guarantee you, all of us would rather die than aid in the destruction of this world. If the rest of them are half as stubborn as you are, I think we're well protected. Exactly. It's good then. The rest is worse. What's bad is we don't know who's behind this. Or why. By the dragons in the endless horizon, anyone would desire something so vile. I can already sense your next quest. Can I offer you a drink first? Your throat must be dry from all that exposition. I wouldn't say no to a drink. Perhaps something that will keep my mind intact. Defended from lunacy. I feel like I'm going mad. Say no more. I shall be right back. I need to go blow my nose. So, the end of the world is approaching. And our old friend has definitely already found out how to break the law. Fourth sigil, hasn't he? It. You'd think the innkeeper would be a little more concerned about the end of the world, considering the tavern is part of said world. There has to be a limit to running from your past, surely. Surely at some point, facing whatever past there is better than letting the entire world die. Now he's got those protection spell thingies, it'll be fine. We'll find out in 5 days' time, I suppose. Frosted Lagoon. Ding. A delicious defense against the absurdity of evil plots. Thank you. This makes me feel a little less conspiratorial. I needed a breather. You know what else would make for a great breather? It was barbecue. Oh. Right. Yeah. Out that. They might not have the barbecue on account of them kind of being missing at the moment. Yeah, I thought I might warn you about that. Exactly. You're right, that would be quite pleasant right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think the barbecue's happening today. Fable hasn't returned from their quest yet. Oh. What quest are they on? Finding Melina. We just saw Melly on their way here. Perhaps they found another quest while out. Heroism can be infectious like that. Innkeep, what kind of drink did you mix them? None. Maybe we should go look for them. Maybe so. Please do. No one has seen them in days. The last things I said to them... I'd hate for those to... Yeah, I'd hate for those words to stay the last. Please help me find them. Of course. I'm sure they could slay any monsters without us, but some extra hands couldn't hurt. You have to deliver your apologies yourself. I'll slay that beast when it comes to it. Very well. But first, we must solve our urgent sigil problem. I feel like we're missing just one piece. One piece! Sorry. Kyle, buddy! Piece of what? Cake? I'd like to order my usual cake, innkeeper. Well, she was No. They were getting antsy that Melina wasn't back. And I said I wouldn't just make them a quest and give them a drink, because that's not how I do things. And I know we've been encouraging them to go out their comfort zone and go on more quests, and they kind of got angry at us because, yeah, they were worried about Melina, and I kind of just told them to listen to me and shut up, and they didn't, and they ran off. So, yeah. Anyway, I'd like to order my usual cake, innkeeper. I don't serve cake, and never have. Oh, maybe you should. Another delicious delicacy would be... Also, still no blood. Aww. The sorrow I'm feeling almost equals the grief I felt after the vampire glitter competition of 1389. Oh? I had run out of glitter. I could serve you one of my usual drinks to alleviate some of that heartache. That would be splendid. I'd like something to enhance my mortal strength. No shopping bags shall hold me back today. I'll see what I can do. Strength, yeah. Making the Southern Brawler. Because it's red like blood, and that's his favorite. Southern Brawler. Everything's fine. Yeah, with all the strength of a raging fire. But I'll make a man out of you, the song. Thank you, dear innkeeper. My blood is boiling with euphoria. Any particular reason for your shopping trip? A very particular one, dear innkeeper. It is a matter of life and death. I must head out to purchase this wondrous sustenance known as comfort food immediately. You know what comfort food is? I haven't the slightest idea. But it is rumored to restore your mortals back to full health. I'm afraid Rhea will perish should she not receive it. That sounds serious. Has she fallen ill? Do you need a doctor instead? A fatal case of something she called being in the zone. I assume it's highly dangerous. Okay, so she's working on something and really focused. You need to leave her alone for a bit. She's refused to move away from her drawing board for over a year now. She even threw me out of the room upstairs while I offered her a blood pellet snack. How will her body handle another year without food? I have some good news for you. Firstly, it hasn't been a year. Rhea hasn't been sketching for a year. You guys checked in yesterday. How fortunate! And as for your legendary item, you should ask her about it. Generally, everyone has different idea of what they consider comfort food. How wondrous! So something tells me you should give her some time before you go back upstairs to ask. Why? Her patience is on cooldown. I don't think Rhea was cold. Her room was very well heated. If anything, I think she's a very warm person. Right. Though I suppose she seemed a bit cold when I offered her blood. Let's give her some time to warm up again, shall we? Very well. I shall remain for a while. And once I have acquired the correct comfort food, I will make sure my friend eats every last bite. Like a vampiric mother hen to her vampiric chick. I didn't know there were vampire chickens. There aren't. You know that for certain, no. Yes. could have sworn the ones at my family's estate had fangs. Chickens can't develop teeth. And here I thought we were comrades in blood hunger. Chickens are still very fascinating on their own. And yeah, probably a bit bloodthirsty. There are chickens. They're kind of weird. You know, they have very colorful dreams. Oh, that's nice. I once had a wild hen with her dream journal. I'll introduce you to sometime. My favorite thing about chickens is that they purr when they're happy. Oh, you're not talking about cats. What charming creatures. The more I learn, the more they remind me of vampires. So simple, sweet, and ferocious, yet their origin harbors one of life's greatest mysteries. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg. The egg. Not gonna weigh in? I'm intellectually withdrawing myself from this conversation. Probably a good idea. But unlike this unsolved mystery, I do know how vampires were created. Would you mind elaborating? Weren't you intellectually withdrawing? As a cleric of Cassiopeia, humility is a lifelong objective that I strive towards. As such, I must admit when I need to concede words spoken in haste. Which would be now, I suppose. Please, Kyle, if you wouldn't mind expanding on what you just said. Certainly. It must have been over 5 centuries ago when a scholar stole some of the immortal blood of the dragons. The scholar offered it to Queen Annabeth, who would become the vampire's monarch. I have never heard of Queen Annabeth. I think that was just the plot of a really challenging board game, Kyle. Oh, you're right. Also, I thought the first vampire was called Mike. Oh then, Mike was real after all? Mike? Yes. It's all coming back to me now. The first vampire that walked this world was the infamous Mikhail. But most of us called him Mike. He had a very close connection to the spirit dragon and his domain. Eventually, Mike struck a deal with Toat. In exchange for guarding the dragon's realm, he would get to live forever. But that didn't work out, I guess. Old Mike didn't read the fine print, and the spirit dragon turned out to be a trickster. What turned him into a new form of undead creature, invulnerable to age and disease, but still weak to the blade. Blood was the only thing his stomach could consume. And with time, even sunlight became intolerable. Mike was no longer welcome among the living. But the dead didn't want him either. And that's how the first vampire was created. Fascinating. There's so little known about the spirit dragon and his realm. Kyle, just how do you possess knowledge that's considered ancient by today's standard? What knowledge? The knowledge you just told us about. Ah, I stumbled upon it in a grimoire I bought the other day at a local bookstore. Nope, that was the vampire romance book Lynn recommended to you. Try again. But of course, dear Evelyn was such a history fanatic. How could I not pick up on a few stories? That was one of her favorites. I still dream of her deathly beautiful countenance as she narrated tales until the intruders stopped screaming. She always told the story of our progenitor, Mike, so softly. She would cradle a vial of his blood, and her tone would turn so reverent. A secret to share with just me, she would say. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to break the last oath between us as well. I'm sure we can help you keep this a secret, right? A secret between new friends. If secrecy is how we can repay you for sharing this with us, then so be it. Since you seem to have been very close to her, I wanted to let you know. We traveled past Mara Castle on our way back. It looked awfully damaged. The destruction looked so fresh, if only we had passed by earlier. I even spotted a heavily armored silhouette a short distance away from what remained of the castle walls. We hurried over as quickly as possible, but the shadow was gone by the time we got there. As it was, only rubble remained. Was my dear Evelyn unharmed? I don't know. The castle looked abandoned, like a ruin. Evelyn? What horrible fiend could have inflicted such damage? She must have fought back fiercely. May her opponent suffer twice the damage they inflicted on her. What I wouldn't give to know her safe. I think I need to go ask Rhea about her comfort food. An armored, shadowy figure. You don't say. Let's give him some time to come to terms with what he just learned. Let's. Lynn! Greetings, brave adventurers. What was that noise? That's his spine. Indeed! Oh, you were right. Worry not, friend. 'Tis but a scratch. So, about my drink order. How about telling me what's going on first? And returning to a proper order of conversation. Apologies, friend. I might have jumped the crossbow there. Let us recount our tale properly, Dame Keelan. I don't think there's much to tell, honestly. You look exhausted. Are you wanting some rest, then? No, just wanting a drink. That can be arranged. Something to regain my strength. Good one might net you a story. No pressure, Lynn. Thanks. 3 strength, 3 strength. And then a little bit of charisma, and then a little bit of defense. And then we'll feed on to some intellect. I'm not done yet. Okay, now I am. I had a little pet on his head. Ding. Alright, I'm yawning again. A great drink for a great story. Aren't you lucky? I like to think that luck has nothing to do with it. Perhaps not. I might have something else to cheer you up. Oh. Melly's back. Oh. Relieved? Oh, like a greatsword's have been lifted off my shoulders. For sure, right? Yeah? You might prefer to see for yourself. She and Dave left me their address to give to you. Who? You know them. Right. Only one person would fit such an uninspired name. They better apologize to Melly, or else. Have to find out the details for yourself. Just don't keep them waiting for too long. Don't need to tell me that. Maples are back then. No. Sure are taking their time. Feel like looking for them yet? No, they're capable. My patience is starting to wear thin. You had some to begin with? You're pretty chatty for someone within greatsword distance. Right. Understood. Can I interest you in one of my drinks as well, Scully? With an offer like that, my friend, how can a skeleton say no? Perhaps something to enhance my aura? I would like to do the proclamation of this tale proper justice. Charisma 3. Ba-ba-da-ha. Let's get 1,000 wins going. Why not? Oh, with inspiration. So maybe they can tell this tale better. 1,000 wins. Ding. I'm awake, I promise. Okay. Please enjoy. Oh my. They say man's making the man, but this drink alone has me invigorated plenty. I can almost feel the warmth of flesh on my bones again. A pleasure to be of service? You seem awfully eager to talk about this. You're not. Was it no help in alleviating that accursed boredom? Well, eventful, alright, just lacking a sense of accomplishment, I guess. No use in continuing this pity party. Let's start telling the story I know you're itching for. Much obliged. We started by making our way westwards, though our progress was slow. Any complications? Yes, quite a few! Before embarking on this journey, I was woefully ignorant about the plight of the Phazoan farmers, the less than ideal weather conditions, and the flood that ruined a lot of crops. And now this pesky undead problem. I was stricken with empathy for their struggle. The least we could do was offer up our means of transportation for any soul looking for a better life further north. So we switched carriages. 3 times. At the third time we had gotten so far off course, it took us a whole day just to get back on track. On foot. But once our hike was over, we did get to spend a lovely afternoon with Dame Kaelin's cousin, Lady Danica. Oh, nice, I guess. The cousin with the undead snail. The cousin with the undead snail problem, yes? Did you manage to liven up the garden for her? Sure did. Just had to set some cabbage to lead them somewhere we wouldn't be damaging any crops, and they were vanquished with just one magnificent blessed strike. Truly a sight to behold. Just some undead snails. No need to have gotten so excited. To match the excitement, Lady Danica served us some positively delightful cups of tea. Ooh, I do like a good cup of tea. Better than any accompanying finger sandwiches were some new facts I had gleaned from observing the snails. Even lacking souls, they still displayed some pack behavior. They acted nothing like real animals, of course, but somehow I was struck with empathy for their plight. To unconsciously seek out a manner of instinctual action, despite the lack of anything to grant them a conscious objective. Is there a more transparent yearning for purpose than that? I don't know. It's just I've started using ice cubes in my water again. I can see it. And considering it's getting a lot warmer recently, the ice cubes are doing wonders. My apologies, it appears what they say about old age is true. You can't help but philosophize. Whatever. And you can't help but relate? In a way. One can't help but wonder whether any choice I make is truly my own or just a post-mortem reflex of these old bones. Perhaps even my thirst for knowledge. And yet your enjoyment of it seems genuine. Golly, innkeeper, you have a way with words. Just a lot of experience, really. Though that may be, my worries seem rather foolish now. I count myself as quite fortuitous that despite all my memory lacks, I can delight in learning it all again. What if everyone... Yeah, what if everyone goes to find... Okay. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? They're their own people, they have lives going on, they have jobs to do, and apocalypses to maybe stop. Does it really matter where such an urge comes from? Anyhow, my apologies, Dame Kellen, I completely derailed our epic tale. Allow me to make up for it by continuing post-haste. We departed after that lovely cup of tea and finally headed for the Pale Woods. Lady Danica provided us with a cart to trust east to you. Pal with the most lovely temperament. The name's Lizelot? That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. Our host also gifted us with this delightful lucky charm, so that no evil would hurt us or Lizelot on our way. But now that our little adventure is over, we thought we'd give it to you instead. Extra luck never hurts. Where exactly is it? I assume it's somewhere in the background behind them. That's an adorable little fella, even though I can't see it. Thank you very much. Glad you like it. I apologize, I derailed again. Where was I? Again. Our journey. I made sure to greet the gentleman that passed us on our way to the woods. What magnificent shadow armor he was wearing. Something about it felt oddly familiar. Shadow armor. Shadow armor. Vegan dead. Survey. Tailwind. Windmill. Arrow cast. No. Ian and Clay went out and did their quest before Ali and Lynn. Hopefully, the timing of their meetings with the person of the shadow armor was Lynn first and then Tia and Clay second, because they were on their way back from the quest. But if it's the other way around, the person with the shadow armor, our old friend, is moving up towards us here in the Northern Republic. Fine. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. But so if it is they are moving up, they are approaching Aperture, where they need to be in order to break the fourth sigil. This bodes poorly. Hopefully they don't stop by us and leave our tavern alone. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and, you know, maybe the tavern will survive the apocalypse, if nothing else. Perhaps it was only my hope that we looked just as gallant after our quest. Lizelot valiantly took us to the edge of the forest, where maliciousness permeated the very air we breathed. What he means is it stunk real bad. We left Lisa lot there too. Sparing her the stench seemed like the right thing to do. And forth we ventured! Didn't take a long time to find what we were looking for. The place was crawling with them. Which explains the fucking smell. For some reason, the miasma didn't seem to bother me much. Maybe because you're a skeleton and can't smell. Yeah, most respectively, you don't have a nose. Oh, of course. Anyways, there was a veritable horde before us. An army of undead creatures shambling their way through the forest. One gnawed tree at a time. They were awfully interested in those trees, it's true. At that point, I was ready to start decimating their numbers. I would have done so if Scully hadn't held me back, just as I was unsheathing my sword. I was keen to observe them for a moment longer. The undead creatures were displaying similar patterns to those snails. They weren't just stumbling around senselessly. They seemed to be following a pack leader. Maybe there was a non-violent solution left at hand after all. I convinced Dame Kaelin to hold off on the violence just a bit longer. I was still working out the best point from which to attack him. Couldn't hurt to try out Scully's idea first. Except it did hurt. Yeah. While Dame Kaelin remained hidden in the shadows of the thicket, I walked up to the leader, another skeleton, making sure I displayed an open and respectful disposition. I suppose they were not open and respectful in return. Nope. Before I could even react, the skeleton had bitten down on Scully's arm. Agony! Not putting too much thought into it, I threw one of my knives. I only realized that the knife I threw was one I accidentally taken from here. Accidentally, was it? Yeah, a mistake. Honest. Spit it out already, I'll replace it or pay you back, or... Don't worry, I'm just joking. If they kept the two of you safe, then I'm glad you accidentally took it. Thankfully, your drink did its job wonderfully as well. Their teeth was unable to leave even a scratch on me. Then what's that on your arm? Dame Kaelin was as fast as the wind, and she got me away from the hungry undead. And so our fierce battle began. With ease, Dame Kaelin took out several of them at once. Would have been a lot easier if I hadn't had to carry you. My apologies. I was still mourning the breakdown in communication. But I got back to my feet eventually. Before long, we were both battling off swarms of the undead. They seemed endless. For every undead creature defeated, 2 would take their place, dragging the battle on. If I know one thing about fighting, it's that you need to watch your stamina. We wouldn't last forever, but our enemies could. One of them cleaved me straight in half. I was lucky Dame Kaelin caught my upper body. But I'm fairly certain we mixed up the order of some of my thoracic vertebrae when we put me back together. I didn't disconnect there, did I? Everything's still fine? We're good? Cool. Sorry, I'm just seeing the welcome to the chat room message on my OBS OBS setup, which usually only happens when you've just connected. I'm sure everything's fine. Still, being held in her arms put me in the perfect position for a strategy meeting. I thought back to how we dealt with those snails. Felt like I needed to maximize the impact of my best strikes, and fell them all with just one. So we baited them and ran, leading them to a nearby clearing. I separated legs, rounded up the ones that didn't fall for the first baiting. And once at the clearing, I reunited with myself, luring them all towards the center. And as all the undead creatures gathered around my two halves, the sky cleared up. And like a crash of thunder, the sound of Dame Kiela descending from the sky, or a tree, was all that could be heard. For a moment, my eyeholes were completely blinded by the radiance of that blessed strike. You're exaggerating. I like it. That was very heroic. It was. I don't think it counts when what I essentially did, when what I did was essentially pointless. I can't speak today, it seems. It did. Well, the strike hit home. I realized most of the creatures could be resurrected again at any point. It's a shame, truly, even though we fought so valiantly. Oh. But we did get you something as well, Innkeeper. Right. Yeah. The trees look really chewed on and dead. The berries seems like they were thriving. These were the ones Alfie was going on about. Not like they're here to appreciate them now, so I guess you can have them. Just set some aside to make Fable a drink when they're back. Sounds fair? Ghostberry. Minus Dex. I don't think that'd go well with a drink for Fable. It was very kind of you to bring them back for your friend. Yeah, it was. I still wonder what all those undead creatures were doing there. No idea. Hunger? No, it did look like they were going somewhere. Seemed to be heading north. They were searching for more tree? Pale Woods is one of the largest forests in Fazoa. I don't see a reason for them to leave the area before it was barren. Unless they were ordered to. Don't they typically come with a necromancer attached? Oh my, they do, and... You don't suppose that gentleman we encountered outside the woods could have been that very necromancer? I don't think farmers wear armor like the one you described. Oh, I just realized where they could be heading. True, there aren't many woods around here that compare to the Pale Woods. That giant root in the capital must look pretty good. Pretty obsessed undead. Oh no. Scully, please stop dropping your mustache. I can hear it. So the undead... Scully, please. The undead are going to possibly attack the roots around the capital. Scully. And those are apparently roosts of the Aether Tree. So whilst Fukuyama is going up to Aperture maybe to break the fourth sigil, the undead is going to the Aether Tree to unbalance it. That's bad. Oh, I knew they were connected. Yeah, knew it. Yes, fuck indeed. Just to clarify, you believe hordes of undead creatures are marching towards the capital? Well, towards the roots would be my guess. I see. They're heading towards Themis, nor the divine roots, as if to... Fell the Aether Tree. Nicely. Not that an action alone could destroy the whole thing. Something would do some damage. What in the fuck are you talking about? As I just stated, someone is trying to destroy the Aether Tree. The stars fall, the primordial flood, Even the interplanar portals, it's all part of a bigger plot. Is that not clear? No. Oh my, that's awful! And insane if true. Is it working? Unfortunately so. You see the stars in the night sky? I mean, there's one. There used to be more. Don't know who's behind it yet either. Well, Helen, Mr. Scully, that gentle person you greeted outside the woods, you thought he might be a necromancer. He certainly bore the armor of one. Did he seem like he wanted to kill everyone? Not particularly, though it can be so hard to tell sometimes. Politeness and the desire for homicide aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Necromancers resurrect dead things to make undead creatures. Indeed they do. So, Ollie, you were resurrected, right? Do you remember anything about it? Well, I admit at first I recalled very little from the start of my new life. I mostly stumbled about trying to remember my manners. But my memories, or rather, the memories of my body, which I suppose are also my memories, have been getting clearer lately. Let me try to focus my thoughts. I believe I awakened in the archives, in the Everbloom. The Everbloom? You encounter any Bleakstalkers? Why, I did indeed. They seemed very hungry for my bones. Such interesting creatures, they remind me of the old intellect wombats. Those beasts still roam Fazoa? No. What are intellect wombats? Priorities, Tia. Gully, who woke you up? A gentleman of fine age. I believe he was there to do research. I remember candles, held over notes scribbled on paper, ink stains on fingertips. He must have found me near my friend's study. I remember what he was looking for. I remember I was looking for her when, after I awoke, I simply left. How rude and uninquisitive of me. I should have asked what he was researching. I could have helped. Glad you did not aid him. He found his notes. They spoke of the destruction of the universe. Did the guy from the woods remind you of the one from the archives? Now that you mention it. I wasn't conscious enough to recognize the faces when I rose, but I knew the armor looked familiar. I think I saw it when I first reopened my eyes. Metaphorically, of course, I no longer have eyelids. The necromancer is behind all this? He trying to break the sigils just to get to Tuat, Spirit Dragon, and the realm of the dead? Sigils? Are you perchance speaking of the sigils of Alcahest? My friend was researching them once. I always thought them a wild figment of her imagination. Seems like they're not, unfortunately. Necromancers usually want to destroy Tuat? No, but they do defy his laws of life and death. Perhaps he craves access to all of the souls the spirit dragons guard. Or he plans to destroy death once and for all with his perversions. But my dears, to destroy Tuat, one must find him first. That in itself would be quite the impossible task, no? Not exactly. The Spirit Realm is well protected, but there are ways to get to him. Can you kill death? I don't know. Merely attempting it sounds disastrous. Miss Arnmore, Mr. Moore, Tuat is the god of death. No matter how insane the necromancer, no one could possess a weapon powerful enough to fight a god. Only weapons made by the dragons can harm them. We all know this. You mean like Ur's Great Axe? A weapon forged for the dragons, by the dragons, and only for their claws. The axe. You can certainly cut through the barrier between the astral sea and the upper world, not through Tuat himself. Would stealing an axe from a dragon count as a sigil? Alright, you lost me again. Talked about this already, keep up! I'll explain later. It might count as a sigil if it awakens or damages their plane. It should not be awakened under any circumstances. Nor should their legendary weapon fall into the hands of a mere mortal. My, this is quite concerning. I'm right there with you. This seems like too insane of a plot. Even for some big bad evil guy. They always seem to be reaching for new heights in their dastardly schemes. If we are correct, this one's plans is to steal Ur's weapon, break their sigil, and then destroy Tuat. Dragons be with us. What about the undead creatures marching towards the capital? They must be a distraction. A way to keep anyone who would interfere off his back. Quite the dangerous distraction, if you ask me. Those fuckers shouldn't be snacking away at those roots either, should they? Yo, those sigils of alcohol zest you keep talking about could do what? Destroy the tree? Spirit Realm rests above all others in the canopy of our world. If what we believe to be this monster's plan succeed, it will collapse down onto the rest of the Aether Tree. Not only would that tree all dead souls, it would destroy the tree, our home, our cosmos, and everything below it. It would destroy our world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Sorry. Not to mention, Tuat might die. I don't think I have to explain to you why death dying would be a bad thing. Once again, can he die? Wouldn't risk it. Though I believe this plot of his has to be limited somewhat, no? Perhaps to the transitional period between the astral moon and the dying moon? Only then would the veil between Cassiopeia and Tuat be thin enough for a ritual of such magnitude to succeed. Wait, what you mean is this could only happen between the 35th of Cassiopeia and the 1st of Tuat? So it can only work in 4 days, or next year. Precisely. Guess we can't have a ritual without unnecessarily complicated rules. It is common courtesy. Hey, I've been wondering, remember that man we saw on our way back, near Marrow Castle? Yeah, do you think he might have been the same guy? I do. Strange armor sounds familiar. As does convenient proximity to destruction. Also, that the blood of the first vampire Kyle spoke of. Part of the ritual to safely traverse the astral sea involves having an associated anchor to your destination. To find Tuat, you need something connected to. Like the blood of the person he tricked into becoming the first vampire. Yeah. Yes. Maybe our villain got his hands on it. Perhaps he knows more of Cassiopeia than I anticipated. All of this context bullshit giving me a headache. Inkeep, you want another drink to help with all this mess? Something powerful enough to get me through this. Anything for you, Lynn. Oh boy, we got 2 big quests. Oh no. They wouldn't. They wouldn't make a game where we lose, surely. Oh god, do I have to mix the drinks? Oh god, I'm gonna have to mix the drinks for the quest. And if I mix the wrong ones, well... Here goes the world. The fate of the world on a mere innkeeper. Great. Wonderful. One might even say hoggers. Little bit of dex. And then 2 bits of charisma. Because 1 and 2, because the infusion takes away 1. Dong. Put all the strength I have into this drink. Enjoy. I think you just put parts of my sanity back together. Thanks a lot. Anytime. So, this madman, if he can't get the axe, he can't kill the spirit dragon, right? Correct. Great. Let's stop him from getting the axe then. Great idea! I know. Now, how do we do that? Well, first the necromancer needs to find it. For that, he'd have to get to Earth's realm. Thanks to the portals, that's entirely within the realm of possibility. One would simply have to journey through one of the portals to the Twilight Chasm. And then enter the Endless Caves through the Nightmare realm. Nothing easier than that. Didn't Melly see some weird new bone way markers near the Twilight Chasm portal in the Moon Swamp? Could they be there to remind someone, say, a necromancer, of the way to the portal? They could. Good. The moon portals are much easier to reach than Borea's. We should catch the necromancer before he ventures into the chasm, and most certainly before he gets the axe. Great, then let's go beat his Hold on. What if you don't succeed? I have faith in you, but sounds powerful. How about a backup plan? Hate to say it, but you're not wrong. Thanks for looking out for us. If we don't manage to stop him from getting the weapon, we stand no chance in a fight against him. Even your divine strengths would be no match, Miss Onwar. That is true. We would need an incredibly powerful weapon to match his. Not sure if it's enough, but I do have this sword I got from my barber. Let me see it. This is remarkable craftsmanship, infused with minor divine powers. Incredible. But I'm afraid even this cannot rival the Great Axe in any capacity. What if it was mixed with dragonfire? What? You happen to have such a thing on hand, young lad? No, but I know where we can find some. The ever-burning flame in the Highlands is dragonfire. The one you wanted to see, Tia. I think now might be a good time for that. You're right. Dragonfire merged with Kaelin's blessed sword. Wouldn't be as powerful as the axe, but might give us a fighting chance. If we had a master craftsman to forge it, that is. Rhea, she's a blacksmith. Okay, a plan's coming together. Good. Would be great for a competition, that's for sure. Yeah, most of all, we'll get a first place, no question. Thus giving her incentive to help, and maybe she'll help with the fight against the necromancer as well. And once the sword has beaten the necromancer and everything's done, Rhea can take the sword temporarily to go with the competition. Everyone can meet back up here for a drink, and we'll all celebrate then, maybe with Fable back. I'll make sure to bring that up while I'm trying to convince her. Thanks for the idea. Very well. I'm sure Master Smith Frostgrip will be delighted with this opportunity. Having her on our side makes me even more confident that we can stop this necromancer's plan. I have the utmost faith in us. And I know Aperture and its astral portal are well protected even if we should fail. Though I don't believe we will. I know I'm strong enough to best this battle. And that Clay is as well. And the others too. Yes, the others too. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if the 4 of you will be enough. Don't worry, there's a lot of people we can ask for help. Like you. Like me. I don't really leave the tavern. This is my domain. This is what I really care about these days. Ask away. My tavern is part of the world, so I technically do have a duty to save it. I knew we could count on you. You collect everything we talked about, right? I try my best. Could you write us 2 quests for this? I think we should split our resources so we get the backup plan going at the same time. Good idea, young man. Plus, that'll give us an excuse to have your drinks help us. Not that you need an excuse, but I appreciate you following my rituals. I'll see what I can do. I should have something written up first thing in the morning. I trust in you as you trust in us. Cautiously? Exactly. Cautiously, but with hope. With hope, yes. We'll see you in the morning then. Helen, come with us. We owe you a few explanations before we make you do any persuasion work for us. You got that right, let's go. I cannot miss out on more possible details. I shall see you in the morning, Innkeep. Thanks for all your help. Let's save the world, alright? Let's, Clay. Good luck. Alright, so... Legend has it, the Great Axe of Ur lies hidden somewhere deep inside the subterranean caves. It's an unimaginably powerful weapon. The enemy aims for the destruction of the Aether Tree. He needs the Great Axe of Ur to help the collapse of the Spirit Realm onto the rest of the tree. The wondrous plains of Ur can be accessed through the Twilight Chasm, a plane that can be entered through the portals of our world, Gaia. Yeah. The Twilight Chase. World calamity is imminent, but there is one last way to save it. The only weapon strong enough to harm that of Tuat and the Aether Tree is the legendary Great Axe of Ur, and the personification of evil wants it desperately. Hang on. Okay, that's unimportant. I'll go deal with it later. But first, he must make it through the Twilight Chasm, and for that he needs a portal. Sounds like a good location to stop him, right? No, and there goes my connection to chat. Everything else is fine. Weird. Huh. Capital is wrapped in roots protected by the divine. According to myth, as ancient as time, these are the roots of the Aether Tree. The undead marching towards the capital are a mere distraction. Unfortunately, that does not make them any less dangerous. And the undead can't seem to get enough fiber. What better tree to chomp down on than the Aether Tree itself? What could possibly go wrong? The Dead Parade. A horde of undead is approaching the capital. Their insatiable hunger for the local flora leads them to the exposed roots of the Aether Tree, and therefore the capital of Themis, since it lies nestled in the safety of the roots. This is a mere distraction, so the necromancer can fulfill his true plan. The undead must still be stopped before they hunger for flesh once more. Legends, or clerics, say that the first flame Leviathan ever bestowed upon mankind still burns in the Temple of the Highlands. Galen's great sword once belonged to her grandmother. Allegedly, it's a gift from the dragons themselves. Very impressive if true. And only a weapon forged with dragonfire can resist another. Only a weapon forged with dragonfire can resist another draconic weapon's power. Hopefully the ever-burning flame lives up to its name. Keep getting notifications. Oh, this was just some webtoons. I'll turn that into do not. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to focus on the game now. Heir of Dragonfire. Only a weapon forged in Dragonfire could ever dream to hold up against the legendary great axe of Ur. Luckily, a temple in the Highlands houses the ever-burning flame, an ancient gift from the dragons that will come in handy right about now. And what better sword to reshape with this flame than another gift from the Realm Keepers, an heirloom passed down to Kaelin with heroism and hopes of the future. I didn't read the rest of that, but don't worry about it. We're feeding onto the dirt, we're doing a little bit of sweeping, and we're turning lights out for the night. That was close enough. Act 4? Not yet. Okay, 30-tooth. Someone has to have noticed that, right? Like, it might not be a problem in other languages, but it's starting to bother me. And I know it shouldn't, but I'll be right back, and I won't be complaining about it then. Apparently the game has 4 acts. And we're still on Act 3 when it seems to be reaching the end of, you know, a major story. And, well, hopefully Act 4 will just be, you know, epilogue stuff. You know, just kind of relaxing things. I hope. Anyway, Act 3, The Twilight Flood. Part 22. Twilight Zinnias. 30-tooth of the Astral Moon. In Isle Rhea.
If Fable doesn't come back soon, I'm gonna cry.
Good for you. Good morning. Slept well? That greeting ain't gonna do in keep. Give me your best lines. I'll hear them all today. Top of the morning to you, adventurers. Go on. Peace and contentment be upon ye, travelers. Sweet water and good berries, friends? Alright, enough. Need to be in high spirits. Not often you get a chance to work on the project of a lifetime. They're just so passionate about this. Hope you didn't give Lynn too hard of a time convincing you. No. Once I mentioned Dragonfire, it would have been harder to stop her from going on the quest. It was tough to just find her. Didn't take you for a nighttime soup enjoyer. I'm not, usually. I can be persuaded, though, with the right soup and company. I assume your quest for comfort food turned out successful? Not at all. I was thwarted by the shadow of night. Dearest Rhea promised we shall endeavor to make shortbread another day, when the sun is high in the sky, and the stores are open. I'll need to make that sword first, though. Did Kaelin update you on what's at stake? Sure did. Those sigils of alcoholic zest won't know what hit them when they see my newly forged weapon. It's sigils of Alcahest. Gesundheit. Gesundheit, I do believe, is sort of bless you in German. You say it after someone sneezes. I think. My German is a little rusty. I took it at GCSEs, and then never again. So I assumed you worked out a game plan? More or less. Not like we got a lot of info on that quest of yours. I'm sorry. You worked with what you had. We'll manage. Though that ever-burning flame of Leviathan sounds more like a myth than something real. Like, it sounds like exactly something you'll need for a mythical weapon capable of saving the world. Ah. Still, are ye sure you're okay with reforging your sword for this, Kier? Yes, it's the right thing to do. That wasn't what I was asking about. Believe me, I know a thing or two about the importance of an heirloom. It's fine. Just wonder if I'll still feel the same connection to my barber when I look at the swords afterwards. Eventually, everything she gazed at in life will be gone. Don't you think she'd like looking at the sword of Kaelin the hero? There's quite the wonderful ring to it. I didn't know your grandma, but reforging that sword with Dragonfire to save the world, I think she would have been mighty proud of ye. And I'll make sure that weapon's the best anyone's swung this side of the Aether Tree. You have a competition to win, after all. Exactly. I've been thinking all night about what techniques to use. The design ain't exactly final, but I'll finish it during our trip to the Highlands if I'm fast enough. Rhea, you doing okay? You never heard of giving someone time to think? You seem to be putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It can't just be some simple run-of-the-mill weapon. There's so much to decide before starting the forging process. Hitting, quenching, tapering. And the 5 Varican heat treatment techniques. And the 5... Wait. That could actually work. I'm surprised you still remember those. Certainly, you were very passionate about the method. I'm just stoked to get a weapon made by you, Rhea. If it's you, I know my barber's sword is in good hands. Lesbian? Question mark. You seem to have the forging part covered. Anything planned for the rest of the quest? Right. Since we don't really know much about who or what might be gone in the flame, we're taking Hex along. Could we encounter any defenses of the magical sort? That's how to get to the Highlands. Clay and Tia couldn't come along, so let's hope Baya is up for helping us with her tree travel thing. Seems like you got your bases covered. You as the main fighter, Ray as the craft master, X and Baya as magical support, Kyle as... I'm afraid I won't be able to fill a role this time, Innkeeper. I tried to distract myself, but the mere thought of dear Evelyn hurt alone, or worse. It struck me with a torment strong enough to make even this undead heart bleed with worry. No matter what transpired between us, all I craved was to know her safe. But to allow my dear friends to march into danger alone was no less distressing. He was almost inconsolable the entire evening. I didn't want to choose one side, only to lose the other forever. That's when I slammed my empty bowl of soup down on the table between us. We weren't going off and die just because he took his eyes off us for a few days. And yet, that very fate had struck me several times in the past. I said, well, who I'd be damned if you never get to see me master weapon. Doesn't matter if I have to chew my way through that tree myself, but the dead of the taste for bark anyways. It was as if those words washed away most of the anguish that was ailing my soul. Surely it was time to believe in the future, and to reconcile with the past I had left behind, all for my most cherished people, as long as I didn't forget along the way. But we found a workaround for that. Flashcards! I need to pull them out and be greeted by the wonderful cards. Prepared for me by Raya and Kerlin. Even though they may be far from me. Sounds great, Kyle. There's one about you as well. I'm honored. Seems like you thought of everything then. Hopefully. Some help from your drinks might be appreciated nonetheless. Nothing particular in mind? Some fire resistance seems like it'd come in pretty handy. That does sound reasonable. We could focus on agility if we were going that direction. Don't think we want to take whatever traps we run into head on. And add some strength as well, for anything we can't avoid. That and the fire resistance should definitely help with forging the weapon as well. Though that ghost berry I brought you the other day, wouldn't mind some invisibility either. Might give us some imaginative ways to deal with whatever challenges we end up facing. Concentrating on intelligence to take full advantage of that sounds like a good option too. X would like that. I bet. Knowing him, there's an equal chance of his ideas going right or horribly wrong. If things go south, we'll need the charm to talk our way out of anything. And this way, dear Evelyn will be stunned by my most captivating entrance. Sounds decent. Some intelligence could also help with figuring out those techniques you mentioned. And my design, I guess. Alright, Inkeep, you look like you're bursting to help us out with this decision. Is it going to be Dex with some strength as a backup and some fire resistance, or should we approach this with more intelligence, a small dose of charisma in case things go really wrong? And some handy invisibility. If you're asking me... So, allow me to throw my ideas out there. I think they should go intelligence-wise, because just in case Tia and Clay fail, they should, keep their strength and not, exhaust themselves too much on this quest in case they have to fight Spooky Figure again. Alternatively, Dex and Strength plus Fire Resistance could, you know, guarantee they get there and back. But also the intelligence could make Freya's design better, making the sword better, making sure that the thingamabob would just scuba-daboo, that a hypothetical fight with the Necromancer might be a bit easier. Oh, that's a sparking nebula, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, then invisibility, gooseberries. Plenty of charm, plenty of intelligence. I'm fine, my throat's just dying a bit, because I've been talking too much today, clearly. Also, we're giving him his daily dose of intelligence. Yeah, that seems good enough. Sparking nebula, coming right up. To forge that weapon properly, it might be best to reserve your strength. Also, anyone guarding the flame should be pretty invested in the dragon's well-being. So here, solve the challenge ahead of you cleverly. Appreciated, Innkeeper. I think that'll put us on the right track. And with that, we're off to the Highlands. Me and Kyle are gonna go grab Hex before I let him go check on his ex-wife. So you go get Baya? Sure. Good. Alright, that's it, Innkeeper. One last line for good luck. Make it count. Mind the creepy step on your way out. Fair. Fare thee well, dear Innkeeper. Write the final line from Rhea, giving the illusion she somewhat cares. Kinda weird, isn't it? What is? This is going to be a battle for the fate of the world. But Elfie ain't here to worry themselves stupid about it. They'd have loved this, I think. Not the impending doom, but all this getting together to defeat evil stuff. Make sure to tell those guys heading to the Twilight Portal to keep an eye out for them. I will. Good. Suppose it's time for me to head out as well. Stay safe, Lynn. Always, Innkeeper. Alright. Tia, Clay, Jade. Innkeeper, we have returned. I can see that, Tia. I was awaiting you. I'm surprised to see you here, Jade. Yeah, well, Miss Holier-than-thou dragged me along. Some bullshit about finally doing my part. I distinctly remember you expressing open interest in our plight when we were talking to Iniko. I believe you asked multiple questions that indicated your desire to help. And I remember asking how much you'd pay, and you said nothing. So I said no thanks. And yet you didn't resist coming along. Do you have a better job lined up, Jade? Not yet. Iniko and I are eyeing something, but I guess I've got some time to kill. Look, I would. Perhaps Iniko can help too. But I don't trust him, okay? His entire gimmick is, oh, it's fun to commit fraud and murder and theft around here. Chaotic neutral. I fear if Iniko went along, they'd team up with the Necromancer and make everything worse. Jade, I hope, at least has the common sense to realize she can't get any more money if the world's destroyed. Iniko would destroy the entire world for shits and giggles. Perhaps Iniko can cause chaos on their own then. Unfair. I have to work while I get to have all the fun. Well, excuse me if saving the world has priority over your fun. You're excused. I assume you've written us a quest, Innkeeper? I have. Take a look. Excellent work. Oh, we knew we could count on you. Let me have a look at that. Just have to catch a guy at the portal. Seems simple enough. We could even set up an ambush. We'll be sneaky if he's already there. You can sneak, big guy. I can do a lot of things. 2 years back, I spent my time with some lithic panthers who showed me how to sneak up on anybody. I just don't like doing it. Seems a bit rude, you know. No, I don't. I think this situation calls for a little rudeness. Agreed, it does. And for a little more manpower. I think we're better off without Iniko's chaos. But there are plenty of other people available. X suggested taking Voy along. He's great at distractions and knows his way around the Twilight Chasm, should our quest lead into it. Apparently he has family there, though I hope we don't need to disturb them. Anyone else? We considered a whole lot more, but Scully and Grace make it a good point. They said not everyone is battle-tested, and that it'd be reckless to take inexperienced adventurers along. They said we should also look into more backup plans for the backup plan. I think they just wanted an excuse to do some research and to stay away from the bloodshed. Can't blame them. Melly really wanted to come too, but Dave said no. Is he coming himself? Of course. Made these two ask him before we got here. We had good fighters and the kid's got some talent. I hope he said goodbye properly this time. Kellen made sure he did. Never saw a more terrifying death glare in my whole life. It was very impressive. It was. So, are you finished with your questions? Actually, could you review the plan for me one more time? It's been a long couple of weeks. Sure, so listen up. We make it to the Twilight Portal by the Moon Pools, and we stop the bad, evil fucker from going through. If we fail that, or he's faster than us, we chase him through the Twilight Chasm and into the, and we prevent him from getting that fancy axe. If that fails, well, we stop him at all costs. Sounds like a good plan. While you're at it, will you keep an eye out for Fable for me? Of course. Now, Innkeep, by the dragons, then all that is holy. Can we count on your help again? Yes, absolutely. And yes, sure. What do you need? I clicked off the screen. Easy. We just need to be quicker than that maniac. We should be first to reach the portal. And we should be first to attack him while dodging all his counterattacks. Outspeeding him seems like the smartest option here. You're wrong. It is foolish to think strikes won't be powerful. We need to be well protected against him, so we can take him down before he really hurts any of us. Don't be stupid. If we're fast enough, he won't get the chance to hurt us. I'd like you to say that again when you're lying in a pool of your own blood. Okay, maybe we both. Just a balance that counts. We could focus a whole lot on defense, but keep some dexterity in our back pocket. Maybe some of those fast infusion thingies could make up the difference. I could hasten you with some golden feathers and some saber fangs, whilst giving you quite a bit of defense. Great. Alternatively, you could give us a lot of dexterity instead, with just a little bit of defense on top. And to make sure we don't get hurt, you can give us some of that frost armor Scully says he wants to try out someday. Sure thing. I've got enough frozen pine cones left for that. I don't think Jade and Tia can make a decision without bloodshed, so could you help us out? Of course, I know just what to do. No, I don't. Okay. So... hang on, let me... People... Luthia is a cleric, we know this. Jade is a bounty hunter. Right. And... plays barbarian. Yeah. Boy's also coming along, apparently, and so is Dave. So I think I'm leaning towards the defense and haste, just in case they do have to chase him. Him being the necromancer. But then again, both the bounty hunter and the barbarian and the rogue and the bard could, you know, well, aren't really designed for taking hits, more dodging. I'm thinking 5e rules here, right? So, bard will be wearing light armor, barbarian gets extra AC from dex, and rogue is entirely dex-based. And that bounty hunter does also seem to be wearing light armor rather than medium. So, more dex, better. And the cleric does seem to be, you know, wearing medium armor, so more dex wouldn't hurt. But then again, dexterity only really helps with rogue's attack, whereas defense would just be more AC, which is what the dexterity would give most of them. Haste would also give an extra action. We're doing defense. With some haste. It's what the... yeah. 3 defense. 2 dex. With haste. One, 2, 3, and a little bit of dexterity. Like the first snow. Defense, a little bit of dex, a little bit of charm, with some haste. Please be the right choice. Please. Defense should be your #1 priority. But I think haste makes for a good backup plan. Never have enough of those. See, I was right, as usual. Chose the right focus, Innkeeper. At least we'll be fast, so we don't have to listen to you bloat for much longer. Let's get this over with. Alright, Clay, let's go. Clay? Hey? You should... Okay.
No, I don't think so. Are you scared?
Of what?
All this. The fate of the world is a very heavy weight to bear, don't you think? What if someone gets hurt and I can't stop it? What if I can't protect you and the others? The world and the ferrets?
Hey, stop. Please. For a moment. Just stop. I know this is scary. Truth be told, I'm scared too. My whole life has been building up to this moment. I've always been told I'm meant to save people, and if I can't, what's the point of me, you know?
You are the point. I'm glad you exist, even if you don't save anyone. You're not some mythical savior, you're my friend.
You are mine. I'm a little less afraid because I have you with me. You taught me how to value myself as a person, despite all the weight on my shoulders. I wish you would do the same for yourself. I promise you, together, we'll get through this. And we will save each other, and our friends, and the world, and all of the ferrets. And the innkeeper while we're at it. Thank you. I appreciate being included. Though I am a little salty, I'm coming after the ferrets. Fear is a powerful motivator. Use it. If you're scared that they'll get hurt, channel all of your fear into making sure they don't. There's no stronger emotion, and no emotion that makes you stronger.
So you use my fear for strength, just like with anger.
Exactly. Don't let him use it against you. Strike him down with it.
I think I can work with that. We still hold hands on the way there. It was a little less scary.
Of course. Remember, never lose me. Your bracelet will always tell you exactly where I am. And why aren't you wearing yours? Dear? And if you get lost somehow, despite your impeccable sense of orientation, mine will help me find you too.
You just get lost looking.
Maybe I'd have to ask Jade for help. I'd do that for you.
Thank you, Tia. You're a great best friend.
So are you. Alright then, best bud. Let's do this. Together. Best of luck, best friends.
We won't need it.
I hope you'd take it anyway. Grace! 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 You must have made them really good drinks, innkeeper. I've never seen Clay that determined. I tried my best. I have to say... I have to say, Grace, I'm surprised you're not accompanying Hex to see the ever-burning flame. Maybe! She didn't want to stop studying the magic spells. She thinks they might help us solve all this. I think what might help me now is a drink. Only I'll get my thoughts flowing gracefully despite all this mess. Gracefully, because her name is Grace. The 3, okay. Second one I've made today. Gong. A delicious thought detangler, just for you. I don't ever think I've tasted a detangler as delicious as this. You've tasted a detangler? Melly, would you like a drink as well? Oh, Dagger. I've already had 3 hot chocolates today. I think if any more magic enters my system, I'm going to eat the sun. Another topic then. I've heard you formed a research team. We did. Obviously, Grace and I are the leaders, but we also recruited Scully and Archie. And Una said she wanted to sit with us and crochet while we work. Lazy as usual, I see. Well, she is retired. And avoidant. The entire world is at stake. I'm sure she can come out of retirement for one thing. I'm fine. She's crocheting us gloves so we can hold our weapons better. They're really cool. Rufus is helping us too. His wool is so soft it calms everyone down. Wish Dave would join us too. I guess he's busy fighting the mean guy. But he promised he'd be back soon, so... And you'd better keep that promise. He better. What are you looking into anyway? Melly mentioned spells. Are those the ones Hex found in the tower? Yes, those ones exactly. He stayed up all night decoding their formulas, but as soon as he figured out what they were about, he lost interest. So I picked them up. Most of them were rudimentary, all things we already have in our spellbooks, but 2 stuck out to me. Oh, and there goes chat again. Give it a minute. Give me a minute. There it is. Everyone's back. We're fine. Care to educate me? Which ones do you want to hear about first? Teleportation or soul binding? Soul binding. Hex brought home a glass case with a glowing floating scroll inside. After we got it out and removed all the protective runes, he was pretty disappointed. A riddle-locked glass case and protective runes. Seems like someone didn't want it to be used. Sure I know why. It describes pulling souls right out of people's bodies and binding them to objects. Completely volatile magic, and dangerous, I assume. It's been a little hard to translate. Trying to figure out any side effects it may have. If I can convince Hex not to use it whenever he's slightly inconvenienced. Sounds difficult, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Maybe this is a backup plan. So if Team A going to fight the Necromancer fails, and Team B going to make the Mythical Greatsword fails, you guys could be Team C and bound the Necromancer's soul to, I don't know, a pebble or something. And then he won't fell the Aether Tree. What about the other scroll? The other scroll. One of the scrolls he found holds a powerful teleportation spell. Now, I fancy myself quite equipped at conjuring magic, but Hex finds it boring. He picked the scroll up because he assumed the golden runes meant it was special. He was right, but I guess he didn't have enough fire for him. It didn't have enough fire for him. More special than a soul-binding scroll? No, but still special enough. I think, if cast correctly, it could get you anywhere in Asteria with incredible accuracy. Interesting. Even to protected places and other planes, but I'm trying to figure out how to use it without destroying myself. It requires more mana than people usually have in their body. Do you think it'd kill its caster? Almost certainly so. It still has a lot of promise. Maybe I can modify it. Best of luck. Maybe backup to the backup plan. We leave that in a place where our mysterious necromancer might find it and hope he uses it to blow himself up. However, with the amount of snails and also undead going around, whilst he's also taken on a powerful vampire, he definitely has enough mana to use that correctly without modifying it, so we keep that safe. Thank you. Hex also brought back a lot of the wizard's personal notes. Diaries and such, retellings of his exploits, and of his hopes and dreams and fears. When I have more time, I think I'll be able to do a deep dive into who he was. Maybe I can even put a little exhibition together. If Voy and Iniko let me borrow some of those magic items. I doubt they dare refuse you. I hope not. I want some magic scrolls of my own to decipher. But first we need to finish this research, just in case we need to figure out what to do with... Just nice to have something to do after all. Plus, I'll take any excuse to hear more of Scully's Everbloom stories. You trying to figure out whether we can reverse the sigils? That'd be neat. Maybe you can duct tape them back together. I don't think so. With Archie's help, I've also made this whole board where I can collect and connect all of our clues. Specific spaghetti. I love that. I also can't say specifically without, really stressing it. Because otherwise I just end up saying specifically. Specifically. I can't do it. Specifically, I've been looking into who exactly that necromancer guy could be. Guy said he noticed some flowers on his armor. I think that might be a clue. Maybe he's a florist. Or maybe they're zombie flowers. Or he wants to destroy all the flowers. I need to figure out what his motive is. If we can figure out his motive, we can figure out who he is. And then we can figure out his weaknesses. Not that we'll need them, because Dave and the others, well... What did he say? Kick his abs! But looking into it makes me... Armor? Yeah. They'll be alright. Right, Innkeeper? Zombies aren't going to eat them like they ate my parents. They won't. They'll all protect each other. They'll come back for you. I hope so. I don't want that to happen again. I miss my parents. I wish they were here to hold my hand. What were they like? Well, I remember my dad always told me bedtime stories about swashbuckling burglars. I remember my mum loved to make things out of yarn, especially socks. They were really nice and cool, and I loved them so much. You know I can't replace your parents, but is it okay if I hold your hand until Dave, Kel, and Fable come back? That'd be nice. Can I give her a hug? Please. I want to give him a hug. I feel a lot safer with them around, like I'm home again. You are home. I think so too. But enough dramatic backstory. I'm turning into Dave. Just... Hang on, I need to... There we go. I had to screenshot that. Just left replaced and gave for Fable. Like Aki. The person constantly in chat being gay for Fable. Maybe it's time to head out. I'll update you on our research tomorrow, Innkeeper, but first... We're going to get a lot of ice cream! Exactly. Una promised she'd make some. Save some for me, come on! We'll try. Alright. Quincy, buddy! Quincy pal! Hello there! It's been a while since you last showed up. I feared you went home without saying goodbye. I wouldn't do that, my friend. I did end up finding those golden loon feathers quickly, and with a little help from Voyage. But with everything going down, I decided to stick around and help those in need. That sounds just like you. How are things with you, though? Don't need to say much for me to know what that face means. I've seen it once or twice before. That's something I can do for you? What is there to be done, Quincy? It's like everything is in limbo. Like dancing on the edge of a blade. Wrong one move and it's over. Something like that. Everything's out of my hands. I just have to wait and see what happens. Would it help if I asked you for a drink? Maybe. You know what always helps me when I'm feeling down? What? A good cup of Quincy's hot chocolate. Here, after all I've heard, you might need it more than me. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Quincy. Oh, now another 3 decks. Alright. Now go on, make me a drink. This one, or another one, whatever you'd like. Okay. I thought it was gonna be like whatever. But no, yeah, 3 decks. Let's make Quincy's hot chocolate, shall we? Little bit of defense. Too much defense. I do have some defense. A little bit of intelligence. No charisma. Or no more charisma. And then 2 dexterity. Quincy's hot chocolate coming up. Couldn't wait to try it out right away. Well, you replicated it perfectly. My hands and heart are warm. Want to sip yourself? You look like you need it. Maybe later. I can always make it for myself. May this drink be warmer than the currents of these times. Most certainly is. Thank you, innkeeper. Of course. So, how are you? Well, I'm just numb. I'm neither worried nor elated, I'm just avoiding thinking about it at all costs. Yeah, no. Even when I think about it, I can't quite reach the feelings I know are supposed to be there. I know I should be stressed, but it's kind of an act I put on to make people think I have emotions sometimes. Like I'm stuck floating on some glass case, watching the stars fall around me. But no matter how hard I try, I just can't reach out and touch them. I can't figure out whether I want to. Touch them, I mean. Certainly seems to scare you. Worrying about the world and other people. It's been a while. I didn't think I'd care again. I didn't want to, but it just happened. Yeah, just like that. Without my consent, I might add. Heart wants what it wants. Sometimes what it wants is friendship. Flash locate for a... Okay, fine. Let me be right back and do this. Interrupting a tense moment with spoilers, and that's not the right bookmark, that's Disney Plus. And spoilers. And I got a great screenshot earlier. But yeah, it contains spoilers, and more spoilers. And you want me to locate biome desert. Is that possible? Did that work or did it not? I tried to go in the chat and slash locate biome desert. Don't use special characters. I can't do that in the chat. Hmm. Oh, yeah, no, I can't. I'll do it later, maybe after the stream. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the game screen now, so if you wanna... You've been looking for so long. Skill issue. Continue looking. When stream done? I don't know. When I feel like it's done. Anyway, yeah, spoilers. Woo! Spoilers! Okay. Okay, you go. Okay. 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 Anyway. I can see that that's a scary feeling. So many things are on the line now. Perhaps more than you bargained for. It was easier when I just looked away. Would you rather look away than help your patrons? Your friends? Sometimes. Oh, I care about them, but I don't want to. I have to face the fear of losing them. Abel's probably already dead. My fault, apparently. And now everyone else is going to fight him, and I'm gonna lose them too. And then I'll be back to square one. Honey. Honey! You swear to me that you've done fearing death? That you had nothing left to lose? Sometimes lying to ourselves is easier than lying to others, I guess. I'll keep my "I told you so" to myself. Appreciated. Feel like I'm stuck in an endless cycle. There's no way out that doesn't tear me apart. Which help you to know that we all felt like that at some point in our lives. Only if you know that there's a way out. Not really, no. Let me leave you with this instead. Love may come at a price of loss, but the inevitability of loss also comes with the reward of love. You can't lose something without having loved it. And you should love whatever it is you fear to lose. Those are the moments that matter. The moments that make your life worth living. Besides, you have the power to step out of that cursed cycle anytime. Do I? Write your own story, my friend. Don't doom yourself because you think it's what you deserve. God, how good you are at giving advice. Makes me a bit envious. You'll get there eventually. I hope so. Thanks for checking in. I think I needed that. Of course. Please don't stop reaching out. Safety of isolation is not worth the loneliness. I'll try to remember that. You better. Now, I heard the night market is close by. I really don't want to waste this opportunity, so don't let me hold you back. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be safe out there. Why don't I get a catchphrase? Oh well. Guess it comes with age. Maybe next millennium. Maybe next 1,000 years. Right, I forgot the Innkeeper is Fey, canonically, and can live for 1,000 years. Probably. Hello. Greetings, traveler. Nice armor. Is it new? No, doesn't it seem familiar? The flowers certainly do. Did you keep my books? You know, I imagined this place differently. It's nice. Thank you. I thought you'd be long gone by now. After all, you like running, don't you? I like it here. Though your visit is making me consider moving soon. Not advised to stay in one place for too long anyway. Eventually the past will catch up to you. I figured. What brings you here really, Quasar? You know, this and that. I paid Marrow Castle a visit. It's quite serene this time of year. What for? Sightseeing, trespassing, broke in. I wouldn't phrase it like that. Burglary is incredibly impolite. I was persistent in my approach. Politely, I knocked on the door. Unfortunately, vampires these days have no hospitality. The lady of the house greeted me with a smile and slammed the door in my face. Not like that stopped me, but I found it quite rude. So you did break in. Obviously, as a last resort. It was something I needed more than manners. As expected, she wouldn't give up on her precious relic freely. So you killed her. I would have, but no, the rat escaped. In the blink of an eye, she had dissolved into mist. I always considered that to be a vampire's most annoying skill. But at least I got what I wanted. And what would that be? Curious as ever, aren't you? That's why I made it my job. What, being nosy? Something like that. I get to hear a lot of things every day. People like to talk. You manipulate your patrons into telling you their darkest secrets. I don't manipulate, I listen. People seem to give a lot of things freely these days. I'm all ears. What would Lady Evelyn that you have Quasar Dusk... What would Lady Evelyn that you have that you, Quasar Duskbringer, would want? Just a little blood, ingredients for the execution of my grand design. Grand design? Who would ever wants to make big plans? Speak for yourself. Maybe times changed you. Oddly enough, you still look the same. I had to make sure you'd recognize me after all. How could I ever forget you? It seems it was pretty easy for you to move on. It wasn't. Yet you're hiding. You ran away from everything that once mattered to build a life behind a counter in a shabby tavern. Is that why you're here? To throw your accusations around? No. I guess I just wanted one last chat now that everything's coming to an end. And I'm curious about how this old friend of mine is doing. So how are you doing, friend? I'm full of hope for a better tomorrow. Me too. I'm just afraid that we're hoping for different dawns. We might be. How are you doing? Do you even want to know? My job. And my tavern is open to everyone, unfortunately. Your protective spells beg to differ. They let you through, didn't they? So how about a drink? And then you tell me whatever it is you need to get off your chest. Sure. Let's see if you still know me well enough. And if you remember what I taught you. Of course I do. I know, Andu. I know. I want to get his order wrong, but like, I have a reputation to keep as a good innkeep. Remembering what he taught us was probably one of the first things we started with. So we'll go with Spoken Heart. Maybe this charisma will help loosen up his tongue. And so we'll find out more about what he's planning and can help plan against it. How do I know? Can't even pet him. I know on. Hopefully he'll be gone soon enough. A drink. How about this? Sweet and chatty. Not bad. Almost tastes like back in the day. You think I'd forget? Yes. I assumed you're as good as abandoning memories as you are at abandoning people. Ouch. It seems like people are right about one thing, though. That would be? Your drinks can influence fate. They can't save people, but they can push them in a direction. Alter their destiny. I wouldn't go that far. I'd simply do my best to support my patrons in their endeavors. Will you support my endeavor? As I said, I serve everyone in this tavern. Oh, noble. How awfully morally grey. How opportunistic. Like nothing's changed. I like it that way. Making decisions for people, leading them to their doom. All because you can't help but wonder what a little entropy would do. I help. You help. Sure. You always liked to help when it was most convenient for you, when it got people to love you. I hope all your helping has aided you in forgetting them. I didn't forget them. Oh, is that so? I couldn't sleep for months. My heart bled and bled until there was nothing left to bleed. I was alone. And by the end of it, when nothing was left, there was just one question. How could the one person I trusted with my life turn on me like that? How dare he leave me with nothing but the stars, staring at them alone? Wondering whether the blood would ever wash off. And how, by the dragons and their false light. Is all you've done with your freedom, this dastardly achieved freedom, this? There's still blood on our hands. It took me way too long to realize that I didn't have to give up. That I'm not like you. It doesn't have to be their blood that sticks to my hands. They're gone. Not for much longer. Soon the star rain and the flood that washed away our yesterday will open the gates to a new tomorrow. A new horizon, unhaunted by still ghosts. Quasar. Innkeeper? Why would you do something like this? Don't we owe it to them? The you I knew would have agreed. The me you knew was foolish. Some situations are hopeless. Some decisions aren't easy. Decisions are quite easy if you set your mind to it. Say I need to tear apart Cassiopeia's wings for the stars to rain upon Gaia. An ambitious task. I could decide not to and abandon my plans because I'm intimidated by the complexity, or scared of the consequences. But no, instead I choose to stick with it and get what I want. I don't give up. I succeed. It truly is that simple. If you care, you'll get it done, no matter how much effort it may take. Everyone was dead. I wasn't. Didn't we promise to always stand by each other's side? To never be alone again? We did. Didn't they deserve the same? They did. Then why are you here and they aren't? I don't know. I don't know. Me neither. What did we mean to you? Too much. Nothing! We meant nothing to you! The home we built, it meant so little! It's not true. Do you still ponder about the meaning of life? Watching the stars? No. There aren't any anymore. Yes, this is the world murdering guy. It's better that way. It means there's no risk of getting caught up in trivial things. Like getting caught up in the thought of a world without pain. Like that. So naive. So stupid. It was bound to break, I suppose. I knew you'd say that. I've seen through the charade. Your tricks don't work on me anymore. Look at the stars, now as they lie at our feet. A declaration of your failure. An elegy to your cowardice. Maybe not the purple ball thing, but the others you're fine with. Oh, you're trying to get him... Quasar Darkmoon, I think his name was. But just leave Feeble out. Also... And a demonstration of my endurance. Everything is set. Everyone will get what they deserve. Even your little replacement. Soon there'll be no more but a fading memory on the horizon. Feels familiar, doesn't it? They're alive. They can be saved. They are alive indeed, but for how much longer? What you should ask yourself is for how much longer, and if the time comes, will you run again? No. But you sent them to their deaths, did you not? I sent them to stop you. I'm aware. Which reminds me, I'll have to leave soon before your little pawns interfere with my threads of fate. Gertrude, come on. It's time to go home. Who's Gertrude? Oh, no! That jackdaw was pot relevant. Interesting. Care to explain? I sent you a little companion, so you wouldn't be so alone. But I need her back now. You know I value my privacy. And I value a perfect execution of my plans. So thank you for collecting so much information for me. Don't have to do this. I don't, but I will. Anyway, I have somewhere to be. Speaking of which, my invitation. The offer still stands. Join me and watch as I repair what you've destroyed 30 years ago. Join me to witness the renaissance of times past. I can't. My place is here, in my tavern. What a pity. It almost pains me to see you haven't changed one bit. I've moved on. You should try it sometime. Spoken like a true coward. Not like I need you, anyway. Not anymore. See you soon, old friend. Or not. Fine. He's gone. Let's just close up the tavern for the night. Act 3. The Twilight Flood. Part 23. The Wheel of Fortune. 34th of the Astral Moon. Ellie? Archie? Good morning, Innkeeper. Good morning. How's your research going? Well, we did a lot of it. That sounds good. Yes. Take the free... Oh, for fuck's sake. Are we back? Are we back? Hello? Hello? E is back. Awesome. How are you going to have time to write a book about my detective career if the road ends in a few days? I mean, it won't, obviously. Because our friends are super strong and awesome, and we're super smart and awesome. But we should still focus on backing them up.
I'm sorry, it seems I can't help but gather material.
Even now, you're a very impressive detective, and I fear what will happen if I stop thinking about my books. Is this what I think it is, Detective Melina? I'm afraid it is.
Excuse me?
It's a severe case of the nerves. Quick, Innkeeper, we need a remedy. Only your most revitalizing drink will do.
Does the patient agree with that prescription? Really, it's not that serious. Thank you. Perhaps a cure that'll boost my toughness is just what I need. On it, Patient Zero. Hopefully the nerves don't spread. I see something light up over here. No, it was just the drinks. Okay. Yes. We also got some hot chocolate. We can make a hot chocolate now. Man, that Quasar stuff, that is still very heavy in my mind. Is it bad to say I enjoyed acting him, even though I probably did a horrible job? Ding. May this drink not be one of your tougher challenges. This is excellent. I could write a novella about the superb taste alone. I really appreciate the effort to cheer me up. I suppose I've been worrying more than I realized. How can I repay? Repay we may. You shouldn't just bear your worries silently. I would accept an update on your research as compensation. Certainly. We are happy to oblige. I thought my knowledge of tales and myths could serve us well in identifying another weapon to slay evil, so I questioned as many scholars and turned as many pages as I could. That sounds exciting. It might have been if I had managed to find even a hint of anything useful. Ictharaliby is nothing but a legend. The Lance of Loengis might be real, but proved impossible to trace its location. Don't even get me started on the history of the Sword of Balmor. My research ended in total failure. Don't say that. We wouldn't know that there aren't any other weapons if you hadn't looked. This means we have to move our research focus to something else now. Like my investigation. Oh? And that is? Like I mentioned the other day, I really wanted to look into who this weird bad guy really is.
A plan like his, he can't just be some random nobody.
His plan does have a certain je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. It's so mustache-twirlingly malicious, I bet he has a mustache. Does he? Very important to find out whether he does. Oh my god, he does. Paladin. Arcana the Devil. Only note, I wish he wouldn't have come. I bet he does. In any case, he must have left some traces that we can follow. She is an amazing detective. I love her. And if we can figure out his real identity, we'll know his mortal weakness. Like an old wound? Exactly. Someone who wears that much armor must have something underneath. So we'll just have to wait until he takes it off. Once he takes a bath, we should... Actually, I don't think this is a good idea after all. Still, Killian says the more you know about your opponent, the easier the victory. This guy's like a ghost. No one had seen hide nor hair of him before all this started. Here I thought, well, but like that would be would have made him super recognizable, with the flowers and all. I did look up what some of them mean, the ones Clay was able to identify. There are some petunias and marigolds, which symbolize resentment, anger, grief, and mourning. So that told me absolutely nothing. Besides that he's a bad guy with some big feelings about the world. Duh. And I got an idea. What about the other well-known necromancers? Maybe we have a repeat offender on our hands. No one really seemed to fit, though. It was really, really close to ripping my fur out. Then I remembered all that stuff about the sigils. There was actually a necromancer that died when the portals opened. So I dug that file out of my pile, and yes, if the creation of the portals broke a sigil, then that can't just be a coincidence. Therefore, this necromancer from back then must have faked their death and rebranded themselves as a mustache-twirling, green-armored bad guy that we're facing now. Shouldn't you be doing the pointing thing now? I'm just not feeling it, Innkeeper. No, it doesn't add up, okay? I'm sorry, Archie. Isn't the revelation of truth that it should be. When you write your book, the detective should definitely be pointing at something. Pointing! Yes, I'll write that down. Okay. Melly, who taught you that? I can't believe we wouldn't find anything. Archie, mood. Who taught you that word, Melly? Would you like to know? Yes, I would. That's what. It was Dave, wasn't it? Oh well. What are you planning on doing now? We need a new perspective. Maybe there's something we haven't considered yet.
That's why we brought some of our research materials with us. Wouldn't our library be better for this?
Well, maybe, but there wouldn't be enough space to set up the conspiracy board.
You brought the board here?
Yep. Thanks for letting us set up here, okay? I'll be in the back. Bye!
I hope it's okay for us to take up some of your space. It's fine, Archie, you can go ahead. Much appreciated, Innkeeper.
Una, he's back. Well, don't you look chipper?
You too, Una.
You can spare the pleasantries.
Long day?
No, I'm never really into that research mumbo-jumbo.
I was surprised to hear you volunteer for the research group.
Your info gathering game is weak, Inkeep. I just chose the activity that's the least hassle. Too much exercise isn't good for the retirement spirit. But I don't need to tell you that, do I? Una, do you know Quasar? Well, you gotta know that word out of me, though. I'll need something to get my energy back. This whole frantic research atmosphere really tired me out. Something to bring your strength back. Got it. We need a little bit of charisma, and then a little bit of defense, and that's a Southern Brawler. The only requirement was strength, wasn't it? Yep. Ding. Here, for all that heavy-duty crocheting you're doing. I feel like I could crochet gloves for an entire army with this. You got some more adventures stashed away in those back rooms of yours? Just some more frantic researchers, I'm afraid. So, what else have you been up to? Just making sure Grace and Skelly don't work themselves to an early grave for the most part. Any news on that front? You in the mood to be underwhelmed? Listening to what my patrons want to share, whether good or bad, is a key part of my job. Spoken like a good little Inkeep. As for their research, not many surprises there, to be honest. The damage that breaks the sigils is pretty much irreversible, as expected. That teleportation spell Grace is looking to is also not getting any less dangerous. Even with all the modifications she's making, there's a good chance of it backfiring. And by a good chance, I mean like 70%. What kind of backfiring are we talking about? Like killing you? Like killing you instantly. Exactly. Ah. How were Scully and Grace feeling about everything? They're taking it in stride, or they're just too stubborn to give up. I'm not sure. Sounds like them. What about you? Me? Well, this must be pretty disheartening. I mean, not really. These kind of doomsday scenarios just lose their impact after a while in this business. I've lived my life, I've made my choices, now I'm just doing what I want either way. If the end of days comes knocking and I'm on my porch crocheting and drinking, I'll have no regrets. I aspire to be Una, I think. But you're not on your porch. You're here, looking after people trying to avert that doomsday scenario. I can't believe I just had to hear that from you. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I could offer you another drink to wash it down. No, thanks. Unfortunately, you've got a point. I guess I got swept up in all this a little. Sure is weird. What is? Caring. Not like I need to elaborate. Preaching to the choir and all that. Don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Let me just ask you this. As you are, will you have no regrets when all this is over? Couldn't just let me have the last word, huh? No way in air. I'll leave you to contemplate that, I guess. Amelie and Archie here. In the back. I always think the young'uns need some company. But I have no regret. I regret what happened to Fable. Lynn! Fire! Greetings! I mean, good mythical afternoon, adventurers! Oh no. That's a bad way to start. She left ages ago. We've been through this. Good afternoon, innkeeper. Does this afternoon seem mythical to you? Oh no. They failed. They didn't get the... They did the wrong drink. They didn't get the greatsword. Sorry about that. We didn't have much time to dry off before coming here. Well, but should we have to endure it just this once? Okay, if you want to leave now, Pyre. We all made it back safe. Okay. But please keep the blanket. I could make some soup. No, Fable hasn't died yet. The entire world might soon, but we should be good for now. Thanks, Baya. Where are you headed, Baya? A swamp. I want to talk to my friend. I see. Don't say yet. Look, the entire world is at stake here. I might not survive. Let alone Fable. Goodbye. Let a tree know if you need more help. I will come. Yeah, that makes sense. Stay safe, Baya. I didn't do the accent properly there. Oh, Flynn, please. Spit it out already. You've been chewing on this ever since we escaped from the mountain. It's just, I feel bad, alright. Oh. That doesn't sound too good. Isn't that pretty obvious? Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Right. His name is Ondu. More importantly, if the others come back yet in keep. They haven't. It's a waiting game then. Right. My favorite. Alright, Inkeep, this is where you come in with a drink. I'm going to explode if we keep brooding like this. We're not that rogue fellow. And which of my drinks would be of aid? I'm not sure if you could help you soften the outcome of our quest, but maybe protection from disappointment, that might do. Certainly. I didn't get the blade. Help you in service. He's a little bitch. I want to play Tavern Talk. We have a Vanilla Plus Minecraft server. There, I've opted you. Defense 3. Hope your disappointment will be just a distant memory after this drink. Thanks, this takes the edge off. Didn't realize my shoulders were so tense this entire time. Can I offer you two a drink as well? I'm fine for now. Count me in, Innkeeper. I don't really want to think about it. But perhaps understanding where we failed wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's see what I can do. I knew they failed. Should have given them the better drink. Done, you can de-op. Dope. Yep. Done. Hang on, there's no cactus. Ah, too late. Sorry. This might be just what you're looking for, to understand the meaning of everything. 42! I get it. What? Weird, I don't know what that came from. This is good. My synapses are firing at the speed of light. Here's my conclusion. We might be really, really fucked. Is it that bad? You don't even know the half of it. Wait, this just can't be it, right? Grace and the others should have figured something else out by now. You probably already have some quests for us for plans C, D, and X. Sorry, Hex. Archie and Mally couldn't find any new leads. And Grace and Scully are still at it. But from what I've heard, they haven't found much either. That's... Come on, Innkeepers, let's stop joking around. I don't think this is very funny. Neither do I. Then what are we even doing here? What? If the Innkeeper doesn't have any quests for us, why are we wasting time here? If you hadn't noticed, the world might be ending soon. We failed to create the world-saving weapon. And now we're here to do what? Have a nice chat? Oi, you're mighty close to overstepping there, wizard. Well, maybe someone needs to say it instead of just lazing around. Hex, get your ass down. No time to lose your cool. We're not just here to chat. Information about the group that went the Twilight Chasm will reach the inn first. At this point, we need to know their fate. It would be foolish to go running around without a plan. Oh. Will be cool. I'm sorry. Not exactly a good look for a wizard to lose his head, is it? As long as you realize that yourself. Or wait for the others, I guess it's time for another story, Innkeep. Forward to getting some context. Right. After our chat the other day, Kyle and I went to pick up Hex. We said goodbye to Kyle, he cried, and then he left for Marrow Castle. Soon after, Kier and Bayer picked us up. They stepped just right out of a tree next to us. Bayer was pretty excited to take us to the Highlands. Apparently she's pen pals with the Yeti, and she'd never got the opportunity to visit. And then, whoosh! Whoosh? Yeah. 1 minute we're surrounded by nice, lush woods, and the next... vast mountains. Snow. A lot of snow. You guys suck at descriptions. Alright, fucking fine. Fine. Interrupting my tavern talk time. I'm gonna get him killed. I'm gonna give it to him, and then I'm gonna slash kill him, and then I'm gonna give him another one. Hang on, I didn't capitalize it right. Minecraft. Island Cactus. 1. Hang on, okay. So I'll have to input that entire command again, after I kill him, because I'm going to. I'm being gifted all his diamonds when I'm back on? Awesome. I've already killed him. Cactus. 1. Good job. Thanks. Our journey to the Highlands was so fast it was barely noteworthy. It was impressive. I mean, sure, evocation is obviously the superior school of magic. Wow, okay. I was going to say, is the delay that long? Apparently it is. But I suppose a feat of conjuration was pretty cool, even though nothing blew up. And you had to keep blabbing to Bayer about it till we reached the village. Well, Grace would have killed me if I didn't ask for details. While the view was great, we were pretty disorientated. Even when we found the village Clay told us about, no one could point us towards the temple. I know, no explosions. Kia was looked like she was getting ready to throw people around if they continued saying they couldn't help us. It was clear that no one there knew anything. Even though we still had no idea where to go, we left the village. That's when Baia let out this gut-wrenching scream. It sounds something like this. Thanks. I really appreciate you replicating the screen. But why? Hey, you guys insisted that I stay to tell the tale. Hi, Melly. Did someone die? Oh, no one died. Oh, hi, Lily. Good to see you too, Melly. No one died. Hex just got a little too excited. Whoopsie. I see. Well, make sure not to scream like that anymore. No one will know if you really need a detective on the scene. After all, you don't want to be the next boy who cried detective. I'll keep that in mind. I'll go back to the board then. So, Maya let out a scream. We had no idea why she did, but before she could explain, we heard some loud footsteps approaching. It was hard to see with the heavy snowfall, but a huge silhouette was making its way toward us. Yeah, almost tore into it as soon as it was close. Before we knew it, Maya rushed forward. I almost attacked Baya's pen pal. You actually met the abominable Yeti? Really nice fellow. Also pretty good with directions. They pointed us towards the temple. When they did, I noticed their well-crafted ring made of something like opal. Couldn't help but ask them about it. Turns out they got it from the temple. That really got the Yeti talking. We learned a bunch about the temple's jewelry making business, and about how anyone approaching the stronghold unannounced would be seen as an enemy, which is a horrible way to run a business. Yeti explained that only a select group of trusted people are allowed on the premises. They didn't want to help us get in, though. Something about getting their jewelry buy-in rights revoked. But at least we do it the way, and soon. Yawning again. With that invisibility finally kicking in, we saw it before us. Lo and behold, the Temple of Ur, where the flame of Leviathan is kept. Sounds blasphemous. The trek up there was brutal. There was so much walking. I thought my feet was going to fall off. Wasn't so bad, really. The winding path looked nice with all the sparks and snow. Easy for you to say, you just vaulted right over all that rubble. Guess we did reach the gate eventually. It was closed, of course. A gigantic wet slab of stone in weathered condition. One thing I know about the sort, it's that gates like this are super inconvenient. Good thing we didn't want to roll in through the main gate anyway. No, with the invisibility effect from your drinks still inactive, we started to check for any other potions of entry. No, points of entry, not potions of entry. What am I on about? We figured there must have been somewhere for us to slip through. Well, there wasn't. And I was already starting to feel the itch of the invisibility wearing off. We were running out of time. Come on, tell the innkeep what you decided we should do next. We might have tried to scale the temple walls. We made it close to the top. Then the stone started to crumble right under our hands. X was the first to fall, but it didn't take long for us to follow. No, it's good to follow with a wizard that can cast a spell to slow our descent, rather than break our necks. And here I thought you guys just wanted a big group hug. If you wanted more group hugs, maybe cast that spell earlier than 5 feet before hitting the ground. Oh, sure. I'll try practicing spellcasting while falling at terminal velocity more for next time! Well, you did manage it before we turned into a big puddle of adventurous soup. If only we managed to land literally anywhere else. I didn't even know creatures that big lived out there. Aye, me neither. Right next to us.
What we had thought the snow-covered mountain.
Eye as big as Kier opened. It was the guardian of the temple. I've got the voice. Fuck. It slowly lifted its massive head, and we realized that the mountain path we had been walking on earlier was no path but the body of the Gwyve. Whatever. Its snake-like body slowly unfurled from around the temple. While shaking off the snow itself, it revealed its pure, white, iridescent scales. For a few moments, it just stared us down. The gigantic opal embedded between its eyes shone with every color imaginable.
What I wouldn't have given to work with an opal with such fine quality.
I'm yawning again, goddammit. Good to hear you guys had a mythical moment there. But I, for one, was worried about the overgrown snake with wings. The Weaver unfolded its wings from where they had been tucked against its body and rose into the air. An attack position. It struck with such speed, we only avoided it thanks to Kier's quick reflexes when she pushed us into the snow. Like, thing about was how I didn't want to fight it. When I was getting back into position for another strike, I screamed our intentions out. I couldn't imagine the Dragon's Guardian would be indifferent to our objective. It didn't seem to care much about it, though. Or it didn't hear us. I didn't want to give up. We had to communicate it in a way that it couldn't ignore. So we choreographed an expressionist dance. No. Not really. That would have been a lot funnier. In any case, instead of trying to fight it, I told the others to get moving and get our messages across by writing it in large letters in the snow. Ever tried to stomp out letters while a giant reptile is attacking you, Innkeeper? Not that I can remember of. I think of a core workout. I think I developed muscles where no muscles should ever develop. Watch out. You might become the first wizard to complete a push-up. Did it work? Push-up? No, the writing in the snow thing.
I wasn't sure at first. But when the attack started, I saw it looking intently at what we had written. Then it launched itself in our direction again, but instead of trying to attack us, it dove into the snow. The ground beneath us started shaking until all of us were suddenly lifted on top of its head.
Thought we were ascending to Tuat's realm for a second, not gonna lie. But instead we were just lifted higher and higher into the air, towards the temple. Soon we could see a tower emerging from the temple's grounds. The Guardian must have understood us after all, because it was taking us to the only place I could have imagined the flame to be. So soon we were close enough for us to jump down from the Guardian. And then I saw the altar. The flame wasn't there. The everlasting flame wasn't there. Did you see? That's the thing. We saw nothing. Did it die with Leviathan, perhaps? Nothing. No great flame of Leviathan. Just a devastated altar. And an empty basin where the flame should have resided. We were so foolish. The clues were already there when we were approaching the temple. All the rubble, the poor state of the building. The flame was extinguished during the flood. Long before we ever set foot in the Highlands. Should have been known the eternal flame was too good to be true. It was all such a waste of time. Oh my god. No one can beat him. We're gonna die. You can imagine our shock at what we saw, Rinky. The realization slowly began to settle in. There would be no way of forging that weapon.
Nothing to wield against the necromancer. Up there at the altar, everything was so quiet. The priests hadn't reached us yet. It was just the sound of the wind, and the crushing disappointment we were all feeling. The Guardian didn't need to say a word. I understood it either way. Whatever emotion we were feeling, they couldn't compare to the grief in the Guardian's eyes. Eventually, we were joined by some priests who confirmed what we had already surmised. They lost their main object of worship on the day of the flood. At least our disappointment was somewhat softened by the warm meal the priest offered us. I think they felt bad for us. As community and shared grief, they were pretty interested in that sword of yours as well. Considering everything we've learned the last 2 days, the minor divinity of it feels hardly noteworthy. I'll cherish it nonetheless. Maybe I'm also just glad that it'll remain a memento of my grandma. I was stupid to think I could try to rival her feats. Oh, you won. You were just facing someone who was preparing for far too long. But I didn't expect you to talk to those priests for so long. I've never seen you so forthcoming before, Rhea. I'm yawning again. Give me a second. Ain't exactly every day you get to see that kind of smithing mastery on display. The jewelry those priests were decked out in was a wonder to behold. Straight dripping. No. Please don't. Hey, you don't complain when Iniko says it. That level of craftsmanship is to be expected of those people, I guess. They're really generous as well. Practically forced those opals on you. And that blueprint. You misunderstanding that one, Kia. That was for ye. The sword blueprint that's been passed down since the conception of that temple. A form worthy of the dragon's might, as they put it. So, the whole reason you went there, to make a weapon to rival one of the dragon's weapons, you have. Ah. Then they wasted it. I know you won't hear it now, but if ye ever feel different, it'd be an honor to forge it for ye. We eventually got ready to head back. I was worried about the lack of trees around us, but Baya seemed unbothered. We headed out to the courtyard, where slowly but surely she grew a whole tree. Branches were stark white and covered in gleaming leaves. I also asked her what kind of tree it was, but she just replied that it was the dream of the soil. I don't know what that meant. The priests looked very touched by its appearance, but we needed to be on our way. To the tree we went. Stopped by buyers, and then headed over here. That's that. Never such a depressing walk back to the tavern. Never had such a depressing walk back to the tavern. Oh, quit your yapping. You were going on and on about this all the way over here too. Easy for you to say. After all, you got those gems. Great for your stupid competition. Some of us were a bit put off by the quest failing. Why don't you just come out and say what your problem is? My problem is you're acting like everything's fine. Guys? That? Did it stop? Seems like it. Everyone okay? More or less. Yeah. What about Melly and the others? I need to... I'll go. Alright. Thanks, Rhea. I'll take my leave. We told our story. There's no other reason for me to stick around. I know this is a hard time for all of us, but I need to check on Grace. Goodbye, Hex.
Hey, Lynn. Getting late. Always a room for you upstairs if you get tired, Lynn. It's fine. I'll keep you company. Things must be really dire if you're offering that. What do they say? Desperate times call for desperate measures. Dave! Clay? Jade? Welcome back. Keep it. Okay. Good to see you too. Where are the others? Tia made it, right? Boy's outside with Una. She's trying to calm him down. We didn't want him to throw up in your tavern. You have a panic attack? I hope Tia isn't giving him too hard of a time about it. Tia made it, right? Oh. But the drink is what she wanted. Getting the extra defense. He isn't, right? No. Where is she then? Sorry for your loss.
Gone. She's gone.
He left?
Oh. She's dead.
No point in worrying about if-onlys. They don't solve anything. Tia can't be dead. You're right. She's way too stubborn to die. Well, she did. Hey, I'm sorry, that's awful. Yeah, you don't have to tell us. Anyone else? No. We got away before anyone else went down. That's good. What about Fable? Did you see them? In the chasm, maybe? No, we didn't find them. So, what? I found a bunch of broken arrows not too far from the portal. They were all engraved with pretty flowers. Oh. Oh no. I think they were there, they just didn't come back. Hope they're okay. Maybe with a drink they would have been okay. You had a drink, and Tia wasn't okay. What do you mean? You didn't make them a drink and keep? I had a bit of a fight. So you willfully endangered them. I had hoped it would have stopped them from going. Nothing could ever stop Fable from helping people, you idiot! I realize that now. You think the dragons I care more about my friend's eardrums than I care about yelling at you? I really regret it well enough, don't you worry. Better, if anything happened to them. If they end up like Alithia, I know. Me too.
Couldn't have left without her.
The body wasn't exactly cooperative. We couldn't have taken it with us if we'd tried. Don't call her that! What? An it? Clay. He's right. Have some respect. I'm just saying. Well, stop saying it! Alright, you three, calm down. I need to spill more blood. Please. Tell us what happened.
What does it matter? We abandoned her. That's what happened.
We didn't do that. If you abandoned the world, our angel would be disappointed in us. Like we had much of a choice.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
What's that supposed to mean?
You always run. Of course you wouldn't choose anything else.
I ran because I have something to get back to, Clay.
So did she.
Okay. How about a drink for calming all those nerves?
No.
I'm in a place. I'll take one. Need to tell you what happened after all, even though I rather wouldn't. Got anything to make that easier? I'm running out of secrets though. Don't worry. No need for trading today. I don't have anything to wash away the regret, but maybe I can get you something to make the words flow easier. Broken heart? Yeah. Fuck, dude. Supposed to be a cozy tavern game. Here. Thanks for this little taste of normalcy. You know what to ask? Do
Stop him?
No. He was faster than us somehow. Million Bio drew us a map to the portal. We could get that quickly, but when we arrived, we found a note stapled to the tree. It read, "If you value your lives, go home."
He knew you were coming?
Apparently. Jade and Tia argued about what to do, but we didn't exactly have a lot of options. But we went after him, right into the Twilight Chasm. It was... Calling it the realm of nightmares seems like an understatement in retrospect. Wouldn't have made it without Voy. And Tia's light. And Tia's light. He ran into the Necromancer on his way back. Didn't even catch him before he got to He looked unharmed. It's ridiculous how easy it must have been for him. In his hands, he held an axe shaped like a dragon's talon, pulsating with magical energy. Smaller than I thought it would be. Magic weapons tend to be size adjustable. Oh. Right. Maybe we would have stood a chance if we hadn't walked right into a cluster of nightmare creatures. But maybe there'd be a good distraction for him too, that Necromancer called on them for aid in the chasm's tongue. Boy said he promised them freedom. Endless nightmares. Just like that, they sided with him, and we were up against the Necromancer, a god's act, a god's axe, and a horde of monsters. He thought fast. Faster than even his new army. So we quickly cornered him, but and thought we would stand a fighting chance, but magic got some sort of slow spell on us. It's not even one round in, we reduced to our normal speed. At least we still had some defense. He was right. It helped protect us against a lot of the blows we might not have survived otherwise. But we were still losing ground, not to mention the battle. Pushed us back towards the edge of the Twilight Chasm, and the portal we had entered from. We almost got Voy at that point. Voy had just played some sick solo that momentarily charmed one of the monsters away from Clay when an axe landed on his shoulder. He was on the ground before any of us could get to him, and Necromancer just stopped. Stared down at him, like he was looking at a ghost. Maybe Voy reminded him of something. Maybe his dead fucking heart. Maybe. This gave me enough time to pull Voy away. The portal. Back to the moon pools. True, you know. The all 7 of the moons reflected their clear waters at once. It would have looked beautiful if it hadn't been for all the blood, and for all the monsters swarming us left and right. We were trying to cut them down, but every time we killed one, he would just bring them back. Over and over and over again. And then they finally found an opening. He cut down 4 creatures at once and got through to the Necromancer. He was preoccupied with resurrecting a fallen giant. Could have been an easy hit, but Clay got reckless. When I saw the Necromancer smile, saw him notice Clay approaching. I tried to call out, but I wasn't fast enough. Just when Clay got within reach, the Necromancer swung out his axe. It should have killed me. It should have killed me. Glad it didn't. Don't be. Tia. The axe hit Tia right in her chest as she shielded Clay with her body. She moved so fast. I think when she saw Clay in danger, she finally managed to break out the slow spell. I saw she wanted to protect him, so I pushed Clay out of the Necromancer's way. And as Tia lay there, her body in a pool of the astral moon's light, we brought the axe down again. She shouldn't have pushed me. She died to save you. I had to honor that. She might have been saved. We might have been able to save her from dying if you hadn't. I wish that was true too. You should have shielded our body so we could revive her. I think that would be a little hard to do now. Where's that? Then she fell. And the Necromancer brought her back. Raised her up like a puppet. Like it was nothing. She was looking right at me. She looked so sad because I didn't save her. Like, why couldn't I save her? When I saw an undead Tia rise to her feet, her weapon and shield leveled at us, I knew we had to run. I couldn't risk losing anyone else. I called out for all of us to flee. I didn't want to leave until Voice started pleading with her. Whilst he was almost bleeding out, he helped me pull Clay away. I still think it was wrong. It was. It wasn't. He would have killed you all. They've made the right choice. There would have been no point in losing you all. Agreed. At least you all got to live. After that, we made our way back here. We didn't know where else to go. I'm glad you all made it back, but I'm sorry you had to go through all that. But we have to. When Cassiopeia save us? Save her! Dragons are neutral. Dragons are cowards and fuckheads. Sure are. The real doctor is the madman who killed her. We have to go back. I don't think that's a good idea, bud. We have to. We have to retrieve her body. He can't have her. Now he can use her to navigate to that stupid portal, and she would hate that. She would hate being turned into another monster he can use. We can't get her back. We have to at least bring her here. To give her a proper burial. Can't do that, Clay. Don't even know where they are right now. If we had stayed, we might. We didn't. Thanks to you! It is what it is, right? You say we can't go back, so we can't change anything. We screwed up. We played right into his hands. All his power is strength and magic, and we didn't change anything. Well, I'm sure you did your best. What's the point of doing that if it doesn't save anyone? I can't even feel her anymore. The bracelet, it's just empty. It's just absence where Tia should be. I feel like we just done something different. If I had been more stubborn. I don't know if you could have changed anything. Why do you sound so sure of that? I think the Necromancer, he heard everything. What you planned, I mean. How could that even be possible? After you left, the jackdaw near my window, I think it was a spy. And it hurt everything. What? How does that even happen? How did you not notice that? I don't know. I'm sorry. All I'm saying is it's not your fault the plan failed. You outsmarted us. All of us. So there's nothing we could have done. Can't be right. What's the point of all this then? If he knows everything, we might as well give up. He has all the axe. He has an army of nightmare creatures and more. And she's gone. The only person who'd know what to do is gone. You don't have the magical greatsword either. You gotta be kidding me, what? Magic flame was put out by the flood. Fuck! So we've lost. It's over. Not yet. He hasn't won yet, either. Even if it feels like he has. We're still here, and so we can still fight. We can still stand in his way at the very least. Hope will only abandon us if we let it. You're right. Us giving up. Not what she would have wanted. What she would have wanted is to live. To get a chance to be more than just some pointless martyr. I want her back. No. I don't want to hear anything else from you. You didn't even notice a spying bird in your tavern. Or maybe you did, who knows? You're dishonest with us all this time. Do you even really care about any of this? Of course I care. Care more than you could ever imagine. Wish I could bring her back too, Clay. Can you? Nah. No one can. What help are you then? Screw this. I'm done hearing excuses. I'm done pretending we'll make it through this. Hey, please stay. Can I have one of those drinks now? Don't want to go after him. If I was him, I'd kill all of us, so no. What kind of drink do you want? I don't know. Fast, maybe? Help with the fight, but might help my stomach. It's worth a shot, I guess. Let's make some hot chocolate. Who knows, maybe that'll fucking help. Supposed to be a silly little tavern game and our tables presumed dead, tea is dead, and we're all gonna die. What a great ending. Ending enjoyed with some hot chocolate, I assume. Fast and quick. Just how I like it. What kind of drinks did she like? Vents all the way. Heads up. Oh. Act 4. The Wake. Part 23. The Wheel of Fortune. 34th of the Astral Moon. And that's where we're ending today's stream. It was supposed to be a cozy little tavern game.